Are you being love bombed by a narcissist? What do the signs of love bombing actually look like? I'm going to go over 13 signs of love bombing, why narcs do it, and why it's incredibly toxic. So here we go. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse and get some support for what you're going through, then start right now by hitting the subscribe button. Love bombing starts at the very, very beginning of your relationship with the narcissist. Every narcissist is different, and from that, you're going to learn that every victim is quote unquote love bombed for a different period of time. Usually it's about 1 to 3 months. I've heard of it being shorter, I've heard of it being longer. But we're going to talk about all of that after we go over 13 signs of love bombing. Not that to say that there's not more than 13. These are just the ones I want to talk about. Number 1, you get immediate promises about the future. This is called future faking. It's something they promise you that it's going to happen in the future. Basically, they do this to lull you into a false sense of security. It makes you think that they're going to be around for a while. And with that, you give them whatever it is they want right now, here in the present. Common promises are marriage, kids, living together, taking some kind of fancy trip, something that sounds dreamy to you to keep you on the hook and keep you around longer. This also causes you to fall for them harder and faster, which is obviously their whole point behind love bombing. Number 2, they always tell you what you want to hear. This is called mirroring. Your narcissist is magically going to love everything you love, hate everything you hate, never be argumentative about anything, and never share a different opinion about most things, not necessarily everything. So again, that's interchangeable too. All narcs are different. If you hate football, so do they. If you love rom-coms, they'll tell you which ones they love. If you hate them, then they hate them. This technique is very sneaky because what it does is it makes you bond with the narcissist faster. Now, you're bonding, trust me, they're not. It makes you feel like you've known the narcissist a lot longer than you actually have known them. But really what's happening is they're just reflecting yourself right back at you. So no wonder you feel like you're bonding and growing so close. No wonder it's so comfortable and familiar. It's basically you. So number 3, they try to quote unquote save you. It's really common if you look back on how you met your narcissist, you probably really weren't in a great spot in your life. Maybe you were going through a breakup or a divorce. Maybe you lost a family member, lost a job. You probably were not being your very best self for whatever reason. And narcs pick up on this. It's like they can smell blood in the water. And, for whatever reason, your self-esteem was probably a little low. And this is when they dive in. They say and do all the right things to make you feel better, and thus they quote unquote save you. This does a couple of things. The narcissist now feels like you owe them for their services. And now the narcissist might be the person who you keep going to save you. This is what they want. They're ultimately going to isolate you. And they want you to feel like they're the only person you can come to for answers or when you need someone to save you. They have no intention of actually saving you, I promise. Number 4, constant compliments and constant communication. When love bombing is in full effect and, these compliments are just never going to stop. They could be about anything, the smallest things, the biggest things. They're going to learn which ones you respond to the best. And then from there on out, those are the ones that you're going to hear the most often. Constant communication is another huge red flag. They want you in constant contact with them because they don't want you to forget about them. This is a lot of times why they throw a fit and walk out of the room, or they do something that's really shitty, like right before a big event. They never want themselves to be out of your mind. They want you in constant communication so you don't forget about them and maybe move on to somebody else. They also need every minute they can get with you to get you hooked on them as fast as possible. Along the same lines, the more time you spend with them, you're just flat out giving them supply. You just don't normally know about this while you're being love bombed. You have no idea what any of this is all about. I sure as hell didn't know all about giving them supply. Number 5, they make grand romantic gestures. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're out buying you a Ferrari right now. I promise. My narc would send me page after page of long, dramatic, quote unquote romantic. Now I just frankly think they're gross, but pages and pages of text messages every single morning. I'm talking like 10, 11, 12 paragraphs on how beautiful I was and he'd never met anybody like me. I'm perfect. He's ready to spend his life with me. And it can just be a grand gesture, quote unquote, can just be anything where you feel it's like a little over the top for like the undoubtedly like 2 or 3 weeks that you've been dating, you know? Speaking of that, number 6, they want to move really fast, like crazy fast. They need to. They need to get you hooked on them as fast as possible. And that's what this stage in their cycle of abuse is all about. How fast can they get you addicted and desperately needing more of them? If you aren't hooked, then when things get shitty, you won't stick around through the abuse and stay with them. They need you to be just madly in love with them, and they have to do it really fast. By the way, if your narc used any of these to love bomb you, let me know down in the comments. Number 7. They want you to think that they are just amazing. Pretty much goes hand in hand with number 6. They need you to think, that they're so great, so you stay around longer. I mean, you wouldn't stay if you knew how bad they really sucked from the get-go, right? Number 8. They repeatedly ask you about the shitty things in your life. Are you ready for some Inception style shit right here? Because this one's a doozy. They're going to ask you about the crap things in your life, the things that you don't like, the people you have constant problems with, the things that don't go well. And they do this for a few reasons. A, they hope to be able to provide you with solutions to your problems so that they can again appear to be the hero or the savior. B, them talking about these shitty things in your life constantly is nevertheless going to make you feel bad. When you feel bad, you're going to look to the narcissist and tell them how strong or calm or stoic they are. You might even thank them for being the savior or the hero. It's going to give them supply, essentially. So A, they can be the hero. B, they get supply. And C, all of this is ammo that they're going to hold on to and use against you later when it's super, super convenient for them. Number 9, they say, I love you right away. We don't need much of an explanation there, I don't think. Number 10, that love, quote unquote, is expressed in absolutes and extremes. You'll get text messages or hear them say things like, you complete me. I'm nothing without you. If you ever leave me, I'll kill myself or I'll die without you. It's like, wow, have a cup of calm the fuck down, guy I've dated for 18 days. Seriously. Number 11, the shameless backpedaling. Narcs tell you anything you want to hear in an attempt to impress you. Again, love bombing is all about how fast can I get you hooked on me so I can treat you like crap and you won't go anywhere. However, sometimes their attempts to impress you completely backfire. And when it does, they're going to go completely against what they just told you. For example, because explaining it is kind of confusing. So for example, the narcissist might say, I'm going to use something I'm dealing with right now. They might say, I hate winter. It's too damn cold. And then you might say to the narcissist, I really love winter. I'm big into winter sports, skiing and snowboarding and all this stuff. The narcissist now realizes they have said something that it might not really be a big deal to you. You might not care if they hate winter, but they have to mirror you. They have to make you like them even more. So now they're like, oh shit, they really like winter. Now I've said I hate it. This could possibly be a deal breaker somewhere down the line. I know what I'll do. And then out of nowhere, your narc will go from I hate winter, it's too damn cold. They'll go, oh yeah, I go skiing every year with my family. We have a whole cabin, do a whole thing. It's like a great time. And you're like, what the fuck? What just happened? You can even call them out on it and say, you just said you hate winter, and they'll backpedal a little more. Oh, well, I hate driving and the commute to the office really sucks and, scraping ice off my car. But oh yes, skiing and snowboarding, I'm totally into that. So it's the shameless backpedal. Number 12, it feels too good to be true. This is seriously just your intuition telling you, danger, Will Robinson. Nobody's going to know what that's from, by the way, except me, because I'm a geek. This is not good. Your intuition is going to say, like, bail out, repeat, bail out. If it feels too good to be true, it is. Trust that feeling in your gut. Trust your intuition. If it seems like it's going to suck later on down the road, it's going to suck later on down the road. Number 13, the honeymoon stage is over swiftly and suddenly. For some victims like myself, I can tell you the day everything changed. The day I was suddenly getting talked to like I was trash, and I couldn't win for losing, and I couldn't do anything right. The honeymoon was over and we moved right on into the devaluing stage. We didn't miss a beat. I'm not going to talk about devaluing here. I have some videos on it. I'll link one in the cards down in the description. It's a fairly old video. If you want an updated one, let me know that in the comments. Also, let me know if you feel that you were love bombed using a different tactic than the ones I just shared. So share your experiences. Let's talk about why love bombing ends so quickly and without any warning. Narcissists are looking for perfection, that perfect person. I'm tired of saying quote unquote, so we're not doing it anymore. That perfect person, somebody who will save them from their crappy lives. Most narcissists are actually very self-loathing. They have no self-esteem, no self-worth. They don't feel very good about themselves. Even if they're an overt narcissist who wants to act like a celebrity, deep inside, they feel like a bag of shit. They want somebody who they can abuse forever, that perfect person. And perfection, as well-adjusted people know, doesn't exist, and it never will. What happens when your narcissist finds you? Again, I think this is staggering on into like my opinion only, but I think this is true. I really do think that narcissists become enamored with us. They're looking for perfection and they think that we're it. I really do feel as if the narcissist really does like us in the beginning. I'm going to say it right now. What's not to like? You rock. I rock. What's not to be enamored with? I think the narcissist goes into this mode of like, oh my God, this is perfection. This is the one. And so you get love bombed. They need to get you hooked. I've said it 100 times. They want you around and around and around forever. The reason that this stops is actually plentiful. There's more than one. Number one, narcs get bored really fast. They want that constant honeymoon, romance novel, fire, passion, and after a while, when you're in a long-term relationship, let's face it, that fizzles out. They get bored fast. They want that constant, we all know how they are, the drama, the romance, the, passion. Along with boredom, the narcissist slowly realizes that, shocker, you're human and you're not perfect. And they don't like this. They actually feel like we've pulled the wool over their eyes and we aren't who, they thought we were. Also, their mask starts to fall. Love bombing is an act they put on. They can't keep it up forever. When they feel that they have their claws into you good enough, then, combined with you not being so perfect anymore, to them, the love bombing comes to a halt. It's actually a really complex combination of things happening. Sometimes it's very abrupt. Sometimes it's more subtle. I think I know exactly when because, frankly, I'm an expert in this arena. But if you think about it, you can probably pinpoint when your love bombing ended too. So don't hesitate to share with me in the comments if you know what happened when your devaluing started to begin. What was like the first sign of trouble? When did you notice like the love bombing phase was going away for you? Love bombing seems like the fairy tale part of the relationship with the narcissist. And it's often that we all think back to, it's really weird when you're being abused. You look back to the love bombing. You look back fondly and you wish for things to be like they were in the beginning. I said that 1,000 times dating my narcissist. Why can't things just be like they were in the beginning? Everything was so great. Once you reflect back, though, you can actually see that love bombing was the most destructive part of all. It was what built you up for you to fall so far in the first place. The artist Katy Perry sings about us, in a song, there's a lyric that says, falling from cloud 9. And since we've all done it, We know that it hurts like shit. Love bombing is still abuse, but we get so twisted up near the end that we still want it. We want what is still a form of abuse. It's what we crave. It's just the incredibly destructive beginning of what is one of the worst experiences that you are ever going to have in your life. However, let's not end things on a dour note because we don't want that. Remember that there's nothing that you can't get through. You're an incredibly resilient human being. And even if you don't feel that way right now, I am here to help you get there. Ask any questions you have about anything narc related in the comments. Video suggestions are always good too. I have a recent video about narcissists and do they trick you into having kids. That was suggested by somebody in the comments. Big shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for helping me in trying to reach my mission of, trying to get to every survivor in the world. If you want to get some perks like shout outs, head over to patreon.com/Jess Stanley. Links to that and my socials are in the description. Please like and share. As always, have a great day and take care of yourself. Today, I'm talking about some bad habits you have that keep narcissists very comfy in their situation and unwilling to move on, or that keep them constantly coming back to you and getting into a comfy situation. And we're starting right now. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time to my channel and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse and get support for what you're going through, then start right now by subscribing and ringing the bell. Just a reminder, if you want a one-on-one chat with me, shoot an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com. You can follow along with me on Instagram at Coach Jess Stanley. And if you are interested in joining the Survivors Army, then click the join button just below the video. Now, this video might sound a little bashy towards survivors, but trust me, I don't mean it that way at all. I'm asking some very important questions here as I go through each of these bad habits, questions that I want everyone to think long and hard about and give themselves a raw, honest, transparent answer. That's what's important here, that you think about these questions and answer them truthfully in your mind. Also, I'm guilty of every damn one of these, and that is why it is so important that I share with you. So bad habit number 1, you do not enforce consequences for bad behavior. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And with a narcissist, you are never going to get one, especially if there are no repercussions for their actions. So why isn't there a consequence? If there is a consequence, why are you unable to follow through with it? Why aren't you holding them accountable? Why are you letting them do whatever they please? Because this is keeping them around. Who wouldn't love doing whatever they want and getting away with it? Bad habit number 2, along with no real consequences, you make excuses for said bad behavior. You'll say things like, well, they cheat because I'm not doing enough. They lie because they're too scared to tell me the truth. And is that what you're being told? That you made them do something, you made them hide something, whatever the case may be? Ask yourself why you're allowing these excuses. Or are they telling you nothing at all? They're just doing whatever they want. And you are making up the excuses for them. Because in this case, damn, you're really doing all the work for them, aren't you? They can act out of order, do whatever they want. And you are not only going to take the responsibility, not hold them accountable, but you're going to think up the reason that they get a free pass. Who wouldn't want to hang around a little bit longer just for that? Bad habit number 3, your standards are low. Once you're well into devaluing, step back and take a good long look at this person in front of you and say to yourself, if I met this person for the first time right now, today, as I know them, this is what was presented to me. Would I really be down for this? Would I be down for however long I'm with this person, just like they are right now? If the answer is no, and it's no, then why are you still hanging around? Now, there's a deep issue for why you're still hanging around that you need to sort out. And it has to do with, why don't you think you deserve any better? It's typically the reason. Why don't you think you deserve any better than what this dude or chick is giving you? Because remember, the only people in life who don't want you to have standards are those who can't meet anybody's high standards. That's why they want your standards to be low. So think to yourself, why is this the kind of person I have in my life? Why aren't I worth more? Why aren't I trying to get a person who will give me a little bit more? Why am I accepting a person who gives me nothing? And so the thing you have to think about it is here, why would they leave when they know nothing is expected of them? They know you have low standards, and that's just the way they like it. So they're going to probably get pretty comfy and be in it for the long haul. Bad habit number 4, your boundaries are broken and never repaired. People push our buttons. This is human nature. We're all going to test the wall occasionally to look for a weak spot. When a narcissist finds one, though, they're going to push and push and never let up. And again, why are you letting somebody do things that you're uncomfortable with? Once a boundary is broken, why don't you put it right back into place? And now there's always different answers here for this one. You might just be used to it, conditioned, so to speak. It might be that you're scared to be alone, so you just let them do what they want. Whatever it is, narcissists love this about you. Why go when you're the boss and you have somebody wrapped around your finger? And if you just push hard enough, you can always get your way. Bad habit number 5, the one-day wager is made every single day. And I've talked about the one-day wager before. It's a dangerous game. And this is when you wake up every day and you say to yourself, okay, this is the day. Something is going to change in my relationship. I just know it. They're going to come to their senses. They're going to stop cheating, lying, stealing, whatever it is they're doing. They're going to proclaim their undying love for me. They're finally going to give me this one thing I've wanted so badly, whatever it may be, a proposal, whatever you're looking for. Whatever it is that you're waiting on, this is the day. You're going to actually find out they're a good person, whatever. And then the day comes and goes. And then you say, well, okay, not today, but tomorrow's going to be different. We talked and we had a fight and we did this and that. And we, worked it all out. And they say it'll be different. And they say it'll be different. And they say it'll be different. And why isn't it ever different? How many days are you going to waste? I wasted a lot, by the way. How many days are you going to waste waiting for something that should have happened by now if somebody cared about you getting it, if somebody cared about your happiness at all? You're giving them an awful lot of days. Again, I gave too many damn days. And you can't get these days back, but rest assured the narcissist is going to suck you dry of every day you're willing to give them. And on top of that, when they're ready, they'll be sure to toss you in the trash before they go. Bad habit number 6, fighting. When you engage in a fight or you start one, whichever way we're going to go, you're giving a narcissist supply. Remember, they love supply. That's what this is all about. Supply, attention, good or bad, they'll take it. Fights are awesome for a narcissist, and here's why. They get to lie to you, which makes them feel smarter and superior, which inflates that ego that's already so overinflated. You're going to waste time defending yourself and your honor, which they love because they love to watch you squirm and it gets you off track. You get so busy defending yourself, you stop worrying about whatever it was that they've done that you're fighting about in the first place. They get to blame you, gaslight you, keep you weak and in the dark so that they can carry on abusing you. And then once you're old news and somebody else sweeps in, again, they're going to leave anyway. So why are you continuously giving somebody a hit of what they want so badly? Supply is their drug. And until you stop, know that they're not going to stop either. Narcissists will start fights with you just to get some supply, just because. Until they leave you for somebody else entirely, but hoovering is a thing and they'll probably come back. Bad habit number 7. There's a possible codependency issue, which isn't technically a bad habit, but I just want to touch on codependency here. At its most raw definition, codependency is caring about somebody else's issues and problems more than they care about their own damn issues and problems. And most of us do when we're dealing with a narcissist because we have that empathetic, typically codependent nature about us. We get them jobs, for example, and they quit them over and over and over. We give them places to stay or find them places to stay. They don't appreciate it. We give them our bodies, which they don't even deserve access to. And why? You know why? Because we care. And they know we care. And here's the twisted part of it all, as if this isn't twisted enough, survivor. I know it's sick, but as long as you're taking care of them, why would they leave? If they're broke, but you pay the bills, they're not going anywhere. If you're putting them through school, for example, they're probably not taking it very seriously. If they're, not flunking out, I'd be shocked. If you've bought them a car, they're going to go ahead and wrap it around a telephone pole. No skin off their teeth. They don't really care. Buy me another one. They're abusing you and driving you crazy with no regard for you. Why? Why is this what everything has come to? Ask yourself seriously, what is going on with you? Why are you doing this and continuing to take care of a person when they have absolutely no respect for you or your home or the things that you give them and all of that? You can read about narcissism all the live long day and what they do and what they think and how they're going to react. But the thing here is, what's going on with you? How did things become this way? Because I guarantee it goes a lot deeper than this crappy person you've been dating. It goes way deeper. And I'm here to tell you that you have everything within you to do what you know you need to do if you're guilty of these bad habits and this person is just hanging on and you want to get rid of them. You can do this, but you have to make a choice. The choice is not easy. If it was, none of us would be here right now. Nobody. The choice you have to make is to put yourself first. If they're going to lose the car if you stop paying for it, oh well, tell them they got 30 days to get a job and pay for it, or it's getting towed right out of the damn driveway. You need your money for your things. If they're a grown-ass individual, they can pay for their own stuff. Oh, if you throw them out, they're going to be homeless? Well, you know what? Maybe they should have thought about that before they treated you like shit. Maybe they treated your kids like shit, disrespected your home, tore it up, maybe even had an affair with somebody else in your home. Here's your notice, my dude or chick, 30 days. This is about me now. Move along, little doggy. And this is one of the trauma bond breaking steps that I've spoken on a great deal. And I'm going to link the whole series if you want to try to break your trauma bonds. I'll link it down in the description and I will stick it at the end of the video. So watch till the end for that. But the step in trauma bonding is make the choice that you are only going to do things from this moment on that support you, that are in the best interest of you. So few people really truly have our back in this world. Let's just say what it is. And a narcissist is never going to be one of them. If you aren't going to do what you know is right by you, don't expect somebody who lies and cheats and wreaks havoc in your life and everyone else's life they touch to care for you and make things right. These are your issues and your weak points. And don't feel bad because we all have them. Nobody is perfect. You just have to find those cracks in your foundation and in your defenses and fix them. It's totally doable. Don't get down on yourself. Like I say, I wrote this myself. This isn't from some article or some other person. This is all the shit that I was doing. So you can fix it. Not that I don't still have cracks in my foundation. We're always going to. But these are really, really important things you have to look at, really important questions, and you can't lie yourself out of it, and you can't bullshit your way out of it. You have to sit down and be raw with yourself and say, what did I do, and how do I get out of this? And then you have to know that it's like a long, sucky process, but you have to do it anyway. So what do you think made or is making your narcissist hang out for so long? Why aren't they just getting on with the discard, moving on to somebody else? Why are they so comfy? What are you guilty of? Or do they keep hoovering and they keep coming back and you're doing that vicious cycle thing? Whatever it is, spill the tea with me down in the comments. And while you're doing that, dive into the videos and playlists I have on the screen and in the description for you for more on narcissists. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. Codependency at its rawest form is caring about somebody else's problems more than you care about your own. If you really take that statement and chew on it for a second, it'll take no time at all to see why narcissists would really dig somebody like this, but there's actually much more that narcissists love about people who just so happen to have this kind of personality. This video is going to explain it all and help you discover if this is true about yourself. And of course, after that, I will tell you how to start breaking this codependent cycle right now. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse, start now by subscribing and ring the notification bell so you know every time I post a video. If you'd like information about my one-on-one phone sessions, please send an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com, and please only email if you are interested in setting up a phone session. You can also join the Survivor's Army for more content by clicking join just below the video, but if you don't see that, fear not, there is a link in the description. Let's start by defining a little deeper what codependency actually is, because we can't begin to understand and change things about ourselves that are foreign to us. So codependency is a condition where one person enables another's addiction, immaturity, poor mental health, underachieving behavior, irresponsibility, and the like. In other words, you allow other people to behave like complete assholes. We'll go over more signs that you might be codependent in just a second, but we'll just roll with that for now. Don't be insulted by anything I say in this video. I have to preface this pretty upfront. I've been extremely transparent about my own huge codependency issues before I went through recovery, and I am doing the same thing right here and now. This doesn't make you weak or stupid or anything. This can all be reworked in your mind, so don't get too down on yourself for any reason either. Now, why narcissists love codependence so much? As I said in my intro, if you think about it for a second, it's going to make a lot of sense, and it will make even more, especially as we roll through these. Let's go over the top signs and tie it all back in here. Number one, codependents feel responsible for solving other people's problems. We did this one, but it needs to be said again and explained just a little bit more. When you start worrying too much about where are they going to live? Do they need more money? What are they going to do? Naturally, your own life kind of starts to take a nosedive. Things get worse as you go more into devaluing. You start walking on eggshells. You're afraid, to bring up anything at all. You just keep giving and giving everything you have to try to solve issue after issue. You probably wonder why there are so damn many issues in the first place and always so much drama. And slowly, you probably see your own life fall apart. You probably don't perform as well at work. Your family and friends might start to notice a change in you. You might run into financial issues. Narcissists naturally love this because they know you will overextend yourself to take care of them. And that is just how they like it. They enjoy, one, being taken care of, and two, watching you jump through hoops of fire to get there and fight for them. Number two, codependents try really hard to please people in order to be liked. When you have an issue like this on top of low self-esteem, you naturally feel like you need everyone to like you. Unfortunately, a narcissist isn't going to give you much of that after the love bombing phase. This is when a codependent springs into action and tries harder and harder to impress and take care of a narcissist, trying desperately to be perfect, to be what they think the narcissist is looking for. This is done, of course, to get love, validation, admiration. Again, things that you are not going to get from a narcissist, but you get it stuck in your mind. If you just try a little harder, you will get it. Hell, the narcissist might even tell you, if you just try a little bit harder, maybe I'll give you something. Narcissists love, that we do this and that we try and try and try. The problem is the narcissist knows they have no intention of holding up their side of the deal. There's nothing we can do that will make them give us what it is that we're after. And they're the only ones who know that. Here's the skinny and something I didn't learn until I was researching. Why would the narcissist give us what we want? I mean, really, really think about this. It doesn't matter if you're after love, respect, honor, sex, compassion, attention. It really doesn't fucking matter at all. Why would they give it to you? They are already getting everything they want and more. And not just from you, but from other people too. Gonna say it again. They're already getting everything they want. So why hold up their end of the bargain? If they give in to you, you might stop trying so hard. You might relax a little bit. Hell, you might not give them so much. They might think that, hey, I don't like this not being one-sided. I want it to go back to being the way it was. The narcissist is not interested in giving you whatever it is that you want. Don't let them tell you that they don't know what you want or they don't know how to give it to you either, because that's bullshit. Mine knew how to be Prince Charming in love bombing. He just didn't when he didn't have to be anymore. The narcissist is all about figuring out how little they have to give you to keep you around. And let me tell you, they sort that shit out like real quick. But we're getting off track, so we're going to reel it back in. Number 3, codependents take a lot of things personally. This doesn't really sound like it would turn out well for the narcissist, right? Again, it's one of those things that you kind of have to roll around in your brain for a second. When you take things personally and things kind of jab at your side and hit your self-esteem, the passive-aggressive bullshit of a narcissist, the jealousy the narcissist is going to make you feel, the triangulation they're going to put you through, and the like, it keeps you down. It keeps you feeling bad about yourself, and in short, it keeps you weak. What do I always say about this? When you're weak, you are easier to manipulate, manage, and maneuver. Frankly, you're easier to abuse and to continue abusing, flat out. Ever wonder why they never build you up? Never share in some of your joy? Ever wonder why they revel when your life sucks? Yeah, because it keeps your spirit fucking broken. It always keeps you down. The wounded bird can't fly, and the wounded gazelle can't run. Number 4. Codependents lie to themselves and make excuses for others' bad behavior. Right up a narcissist's alley, isn't it? And by now it's probably pretty clear why a narcissist would pretty much be all about this person. Codependents like to kind of bury their head in the sand and develop little lies to themselves to make things okay, convince themselves of certain things. It's pretty much denial. Nope, I'm not dealing with the fact that they're probably cheating on me. They're just running late at work, and that's it. That's final. That's it. As if this isn't sucky enough for, everybody except the narcissist, you go a step further, and even if you know there's something wrong and you're not in denial about it, you just make an excuse for it. Or you listen to the bullshit the narcissist feeds you. Literally think about every scenario here, every single one. The narcissist can do no wrong. If they do, you'll deny it and lie to yourself about it. If you're not in denial and you accept it, you excuse it. If you don't excuse it, you'll listen to their excuse. And they'll more than likely tell you it's your fault anyway, or you don't get it, you don't understand them. Remember, they're all so special that we can't possibly understand them. Or they didn't mean to. They're a victim of circumstance. It's somebody else's fault. It wasn't a big deal. Just get over it. I mean, literally, how can they lose? How does anybody lose here except you? Number 5, codependence, fear rejection. It's funny how eerily similar being narcissistic and codependent really is when you cut it right down to brass tacks. Both are afraid of kind of the same things, and there's some of the same issues and insecurities. It's just that narcissists deal with things in such a different way. But there are actually toxic parts of codependency as well, and I'm going to touch on that briefly here in a second. But obviously, when one fears rejection, you're going to fight harder to make a relationship work. You don't want things to end. You are afraid of the other person leaving because then you'll be alone. What will you do? And this is why you stop bringing up things that, that upset somebody. You just take the abuse. My old saying was, oh, well, it beats being alone all by myself. I remember saying this to my counselor when I was retelling my story to her. And I would say to her, when I was with him, I think I said that to myself a million times. Oh, well, at least I'm not alone. But damn, I was so very, very alone. So now back to my segue. There are other signs of codependency that narcissists actually don't like at all. And some of them, believe it or not, can be very, very toxic. I wouldn't say necessarily as toxic as narcissism, but codependency through and through is not a good thing to be. So I think this needs to be addressed in this video as part of healing, because we do need to be accountable for these things and take responsibility. I also have to say here that I'm not saying that just because this sounds like you, that you're codependent. I am a doctor of nothing, but we can take this information and know that maybe we have these tendencies. And from that, we know that maybe this is why we're more likely to choose folks like this as partners. And we can take some steps to change things. There's always steps that we have to take to change some of these things. There's my disclaimer. I'm just getting that. I don't have that in my script. I blurted it out. So there's my disclaimer. I'm a doctor of nothing. I'm not saying you're codependent. So here we go. Some signs that narcissists don't like so much and that are kind of shitty and toxic. Number one, codependents usually offer up advice whether anyone wants it or not. And this goes back to the obsessive need to help people and fix problems. Codependents really are problem solvers. They want to fix everything. And to a narcissist who wants to fix and change nothing, you can imagine this does not sit well. Number two, codependents expect the narcissist and everyone else to generally just do what they say. When the advice is given, codependents want it followed. They want the problem solved. Now, narcissists, again, literally somebody with the worst follow through in the entire history of ever is not going to do this. And the codependent, in the eyes of the narcissist, is going to be, start to become the nag, the ball and chain, whatever you want to say. And that will wear quite thin on a narcissist. Number three, codependents can feel like a victim. I'm going to sting a lot of people right here. I'm already aware. It's cool, but it needs to be said. And I'm saying it. And again, I remind you, I was in this spot once too. So try not to take this too personally because this is truth right here. Codependents sometimes feel victimized and like they have no power. Abuse was something done to them that they had no control over. Everything bad that happens to them is something they have no control over. Well, what we don't realize is that good old Dr. Phil line. We teach other people how to treat us. And bluntly here, when you're a doormat, don't think people aren't going to wipe their feet on you. A huge part of this is accepting that our choices to care for narcissists and other toxic people like this is why we are here. We didn't bail when shit started getting shitty. We stayed, but some people really, really play the victim role and are convinced they had nothing to do with this whole thing. And unfortunately, that is just not true. I know I burst some bubbles here, but we all have responsibility. Now, does that mean what the narc did was cool? Fuck no. But we are not powerless. Never. We all have choices. We made our choices and now we deal with those consequences. But that is why healing and learning and things like this is so huge, so vital. It really is. If you learn that you have these tendencies, if nothing else, you will know that, if I do ABC, I better be careful when I meet somebody new because I have this tendency, We are victims, but only to a certain point. No, we didn't necessarily ask for this. I didn't wake up and put on my button and say, I'm looking for a boyfriend who will treat me really shitty today, but we allowed it. And again, Dr. Phil, what you permit, you promote. So some other signs briefly here that I didn't really go over too terribly much one way or the other are low self-esteem, poor boundaries, obsessive control, caretaking, obsession, which kind of goes into obsessive control, and denial. So some really good questions to ask yourself if you think that this is something that you are struggling with. This might help you come to that determination on whether or not you think you have like a codependent personality. So, do you avoid confrontation? Do you neglect your needs to attend to others first? Do you accept verbal or physical abuse by others? Do you take responsibility for the actions of others? Do you feel shame when others make mistakes? Do you do more than your share at work, at home, or in any other aspect of your life? Do you ask for help? Do you need others' validation to feel good about yourself? Do you think everyone's feelings are more important than your own? Do you suffer from low self-esteem? Now, you ask yourself those questions and you come to the same part that I did, and I'll give you my exact reaction. And that was, holy fuck, I do all of this. So how do I stop it? Well, time for some transparency here. Through therapy and talking a lot about past bullshit, it really helped me see that I had a lot, like a metric fuck ton of me work to do, still do, transparently again, but but that I had to do that on my own. And when you learn things like nobody is going to love you until you love you, and it's your job to make yourself happy, and life is what you make it, I kind of went, wow, so just jumping right back into something like I really, really want to because I'm lonely and afraid and all this stuff will literally fix nothing. And I was not doing all that bullshit and getting my heart stomped on like all over again. So for me, it was an easy choice to just say, nope, I'm on my own. Deal with that, Jess, because this sucked ass and I am not doing it again. But some other things can help too. And of course, if I just said that, boy, how shitty would that be to leave you? Okay, bye. So there are some things I want to talk about that will help you break codependency if you kind of feel you have that personality about you. So number one, you have to find a balance. You have to learn how to hear people out and not be quick to jump and fix, period. Most of the time, people don't really want you to solve anything. I know that my counselor isn't going to solve anything for me, and I don't really want her to. Most of the time, I just want someone to listen to me. And most of the time, other people do too. They just want someone to say, you're right, Sharon, he is a douchebag. Or you're right, Jake, she's a real bitch, Or you have to learn that when people ask for advice, let's get real here. Come on. They usually don't want it. Most people already know what they're going to do, or they already have the opinion that they want, and they get ruffled, when people do and say certain things, just forget about it. People don't want advice even when they ask for it. I don't know why. So just let that go. Number two, figure out who you gravitate to and why you do that. Do you always seem to think the underdog is cute? Do you always admire somebody who just needs a little help, quote unquote? Is the girl who just got out of something always who you seem to go for? You need to identify who you go after and why you go after them. And hopefully you'll see that there's a pattern going on there. More than that, you have to find out things about yourself. Are you the type who gives advice nobody asked for? Do you try to, help people too much? You have to know these things. If you don't know what you do and why you do it, you literally can't change anything. You have to see the patterns in both of these aspects. Literally, that's it. You just have to figure out the pattern. Simply knowing these things is a start, and asking yourself why is huge and will probably just get the ball rolling, and you'll fall down a rabbit hole and go from there. Number three, understand what a real relationship is like. Let me tell you something. Real love is calm and quiet. Saying how you feel doesn't start a fucking fight, an argument, or cause a breakup. You don't feel like shit about yourself constantly. You lift somebody up and they lift you up. You're a fucking team. It's not 50-50. It's fucking 100-100. Both people can come together, yet live separate aspects of their own lives. There's actually this super nifty thing called compromise, where both of you can actually be semi-happy about something. You are allowed to have feelings, believe it or not. And most importantly, you are allowed a voice. And in a real relationship, somebody loves you, wants you to have a ball sack, and wants you to use it. There is peace. There is tranquility. Number four, boundaries. This is so vital. If you take nothing else away from my video, if you've learned nothing else, if you've gotten this far, number one, your purple heart is in the mail. Number two, if this is the only thing you take away, oh, for God's sake, if it's one, just let it be this: boundaries. Okay, get them, live them, love them. I'm going to share with you what I work on when I talk to some clients one-on-one in my phone sessions, because this is just so super. I just got to share this. So what you're going to do is write down a list of boundaries in a relationship. And I'm talking with good old fashioned pen and paper, by the way. Okay. You write shit down that you just absolutely will not tolerate in a relationship. I don't care what it is. This is your list, but really, really think about it. What will you not put up with in your next relationship? And then you're going to write down why. Why won't you put up with whatever deal breakers you wrote down on that piece of paper? I'm just going to go with cheating because it's always just the easiest, fastest example in my head. If you won't tolerate cheating, why not? The why here is really important because you're going to write down something probably along the lines of, well, because I deserve honesty, love, and respect. And that's right. You fucking do. And sometimes you need to see that on a piece of paper. So you have the boundary and you're going to write your list and you're going to write why. And then you're going to take it further. You write down consequences for somebody breaking these boundaries. I'm going back to my example. If somebody cheats on me, the relationship is over. Just the only example I can think of. It's just the easiest one because all narcs do it. But then you write down why. Why is this the consequence for this boundary being broken? Well, because it's a huge violation of trust, and obviously they're not ready for what I'm ready for. So yeah, if you're unfaithful to me, I'm out like shout. That's how this goes. Make sure, however, that you can follow through with these consequences. That is really the key here. You don't want to get into a relationship and be a can of hot air who doesn't follow through. So really sit down and think about these boundaries and why, and the consequences and why, and make sure that these are things that you can stick to. Always go back to the why. Why did I say this? Why is this important? It will remind you of really powerful things like what you deserve and why you shouldn't put up with somebody's half-assed, inexcusable bullshit. Other boundaries are learning how to say no when you don't want to do something, making sure that you really are invested in something before you say yes, not fixing all of, everyone else's problems, things like that. So boundaries, vital. Number 5, keep in mind, the only person you can control here is you. We can't change anyone but us. We have enough work to do on ourselves to be who we want in order to have the kind of life that we want. But you know what? Others can fucking do the same. We're all capable if we have grit, resilience, and an open mind, and all of us have that deep down inside ourselves. Nobody is lacking anything. We all have grit, resilience, and an open mind. It just takes a lot of change, and you have to push past the fear and be brave, but we've all got it. Let others do their own goddamn dirty work. Never your responsibility to take somebody else from where they are to where the fuck they need to be. Not your job. You get yourself there, and maybe you'll see them. And if not, don't worry about it, because you're going to meet somebody else who found the same place you did anyway. Number 6, learn who to help and when and how much while still being a badass with impeccable decorum. This one can be tricky. No more bending over so far backwards for people that you are looking yourself in the ass. Nope. Done. Absolutely done. But we still want to be awesome, right? Because you are fucking awesome. So this is where you have to learn who to help. Well, you help people who ask for it, earnestly, nicely, who appreciate it. When do you help? Well, when you see somebody else is trying, and not until after they've made some kind of honest effort. The good old help me to help you. Don't help somebody who's making no effort. And this varies person to person, of course, and it's on a very situational level, but you have to really think about these things. We are here to save ourselves. You help those who are worthy and appreciative and trying. If someone doesn't like that you won't do something, well, too fucking bad. Go through your hissy fit and act like a kid somewhere else. Number 7, boost your self-esteem and understand that you are an absolute badass. Because you are. Obviously. But boosting your self-esteem is essential in breaking codependency. You have to learn how to love yourself and how to be okay in your own skin. You just do. Remember that nobody is perfect, and that's okay. It's sad I wasted words like this on such a shitbag, but I used to tell my ex, no, you're not perfect, but you are flawed flawlessly to me. He can eat shit now, but the words are still true. We are all flawed flawlessly, and we are who we are. So you might as well give yourself a hug and embrace it. Take care of your health, mental and physical. Do the things that you love with the people that you love, have amazing experiences, and live your life. Stop the negative self-talk. It's incredibly damaging. Talk to yourself with compassion. Never be mean or hateful. We don't want to take shit like that from narcissists. Don't take shit like that from yourself. Compassionate, constructive conversation. Instead of just insulting yourself, talk through things. Ask yourself, what is bothering me? What do I need? Things like that. Number 8, learn what you need and how to give it to yourself. This stems into some trauma bonding things that I'm going to go over in a huge series that I'm doing starting June 1st called Take Back Your Life, and I'm going to touch on it there. So we often depend on people for love and happiness and things like that, and that's just not how this works. These are things that we need to learn how to give ourselves. It is not guaranteed from anybody else. I can't stress that to you and promise you that enough. But more on that in a couple weeks. Like I say, June 1st, we're going to do like a 6 or 7 week series, and it's going to be every Monday called Take Back Your Life. We're going to go way, way deep into trauma bonding. So tell me in the comments if you had a codependency issue or you think you have one now. And, what did you do? How did you get over it? Are you all good now? Spill the tea with me, like always, down in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. When you live in a society where social media and online dating is king, and at this point it is, then this is going to happen to you more than likely at least once. Your perfect person, so to speak, is suddenly hours and hours away. Dating app, Twitter, whatever. They come out of nowhere, things are incredible, and then before you know it, you are in some long distance garbage. In this video, I want to talk about how you identify toxicity like narcissism from afar and why narcs really enjoy finding love, quote unquote, at a long distance. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse, start now by subscribing. Real quick, let's go over some key hallmarks of narcissism here, because whether you're in a long distance thing or not, they are always the same. So let's go through some of the easier ones to kind of pinpoint if you're dealing with somebody who is just crazy toxic. Number 1, there is going to be a huge lack of empathy. If you're unsure of what empathy actually is, that's the ability that people have to feel the feelings of others. You can understand how somebody feels when they're frustrated or mad, upset, happy. Simply put, you can understand why somebody has the feelings they have based on their situation. There is none of this with a narcissist. No empathy and usually very little sympathy as well. Always pay attention to that. Number 2, the overwhelming sense of entitlement. For some reason, narcissists and most toxic people seem to think the world and everyone in it owes them something, some kind of piece of pie, just because they are who they are. So look out for that sense of entitlement. Number 3, they will have an obsessive need for admiration, worship, admiration, and quote unquote love. They need compliments. They need their egos boosted. Don't you dare criticize or insult them. They need all day attention every day, and it is never, ever enough. Number 4, they don't seem to feel much guilt or shame about anything that they do, ever. Number 5, no responsibility is taken for pretty much every aspect of their life. Everything is always somebody else's fault, and they have piss poor follow through. There are more, like a sense of self-importance and all that, but I believe these are the ones that just make it glaringly obvious that you're dealing with somebody toxic. So you can always do a quick Google search to find more signs of toxicity and narcissism, but those are, to me, the absolute hallmarks. And this is when you know you're dealing with somebody who you probably shouldn't be dealing with. So now, what does this look like when you're in something long distance with a narcissist? Well, you are still going to get love bombed. That's really the first thing that you need to look for. If something feels too good to be true, it is. I know that's the most cliche thing I can say, but really, if you're so happy and so excited and everything is so great, I'm sorry, but you got to look out, because if something just feels that fucking magical, that's probably all it is some straight up magic and nothing real. If something seems to be going too fast for you or it feels off, then it is. Most of us don't catch this though. So these signs I talked about are what we, typically experience when we're on into the devaluing stage. You'll notice everything's always about them. Did you have a bad day? They don't really seem to give a shit, do they? They don't really want to hear much about you at all, for that matter, unless you're complimenting them or doing something that they want you to do. If anything bad is happening in your life, you'll find they really don't want to fucking hear about it. You're never really allowed to express yourself or talk much about, what's going on with you, especially if you've got somebody with overt tendencies. The covert might maybe kind of sort of at least pretend to give a shit. Your overt is not going to give any kind of a fuck. So another big one to notice, which I mentioned again, is the piss poor follow through. You know this one. We all know this one. This is the I'm going to text, I'm going to call, we're going to meet, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And none of it happens. You are waiting hours and hours for, you're never getting vacation or who the fuck knows, and nothing ever comes to be. Then you'll notice the lack of responsibility that they take for these things. Oh, I overslept. Oh, I didn't notice the time. Oh, this happened. This person called. I had to go do this thing. It's always something. And it's always going to be typically somebody else's fault. And as I said earlier, there's really not much shame. You'll get a half-ass apology and they will very quickly want you to hurry up, get over it, and move on. They have no empathy if you express your disappointment. They don't really seem to know what the big deal is and why you just won't get over it in a super fast hurry. So, why would the narcissist want something long distance though? It's not really an amazing experience, so what's the appeal really for them? There are actually a few reasons why this works out very well for narcissists. Why having one, let's be real here, several people long distance. There are a couple corkers for them where it really just works out great. Firstly, you're more than likely just a void filler because they have primary supply close to home. Narcissists always have a primary supply, and that is who they spend most of their time with. If you're 100 miles away or more, you have no idea what else they have going on. All you know is what they tell you. And probably little of that is the truth. Your secondary supply to pass the time, like I say, a void filler. You get a text or a phone call or something maybe when they're bored, lonely, horny, and perhaps impossibly drunk. You don't really get much from them other than that. Or if you do get a little bit of attention, it's very short-lived. Remember the hot and cold rule. If they're hot with you, they're cold with somebody else. If they're cold with you, they're running hot with somebody else. That is what a narcissist does. That's why all toxic people run so hot and cold. When they're hot with you, they're cold with somebody else, and vice versa. Next, there's typically no real rush to have a real commitment. If you're hours and hours apart, no one is going to be moving across the country or the world anytime soon, more than likely. So this means they can string you along and play this game for months or even years, whereas they couldn't if you lived 10 or 20 minutes away. So, if you're going to merge two lives together or become some kind of serious or exclusive, doing that long distance really isn't very plausible, and they're aware of this. So there's not really a whole lot of commitment happening here. Or they'll make a fake one, but they have primary and other things happening. So there might be a rush to commit, but it's not really a real commitment, so to speak. So thirdly, there's more than one of you, which I already said. You're not the only one the narcissist is doing this to. They have lots of other supply, including the primary, all over the place, hooked on them desperately, probably dying to be with them. And they just soak all of that in and just roll around in that ego boost and all that goodness they're getting from all their supply. They'll have supply an hour away and then some 5 hours away, and they never have to make any commitments, and it's not really a big deal. They just do it when they're bored, and it's just a little ego boost to pass the time. Lastly, they don't have to be close to you to get what they need from you. If you'll send them money or nudes or spend hours talking to them or whatever it is that they want, whatever it is that they're after, they're already getting what they want from you, and they will never have to take things further. You're unfulfilled and you want more, and you're under the guise that you're going to get more, but they don't. Again, if this is like a sex thing or something, they have primary who they're sleeping with. It's not you. If they wanted to sleep with you, they'd make a move to sleep with you. They don't care. So usually it's money or time or attention or perhaps risque photos or something like that. Again, you're unfulfilled. You want more. You think you're going to get more, but they don't. They're cool. They're already getting what they want from you. So they're just going to keep stringing you along. If somebody wanted more from you, if somebody wanted something more serious from you, they'd shit or get off the pot. They'd step on the gas pedal and make the fucking move. So while the long distance narc can't physically hurt you, this can be just as damaging as one you see in person. They're still playing games emotionally, mentally, and they still play the game just as good as the narcissist who you can see at normal speed face to face in real life. So tell me if you had an experience with a long distance narc down in the comments. Spill the tea with me. Like always, I would be very curious to see if anybody else has had similar experiences. This is happening a lot more now, especially with events happening in the world. I think long distance abuse and more just strictly online or texting relationships are a lot more common now. So please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. I truthfully believe the most sinister part of being abused by the narcissist is all the false promises that are made to us in the very beginning. The lies that initially make us captivated by these people and get us sucked in and willing to stomach the horrific abuse that follows. So in this video, I want to talk about the top signs you're being love bombed and future faked by a narcissist. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse, start now by subscribing. If you have questions about your own personal situation, I invite you to join me on my weekly live streams every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. Make sure you have your notifications for this channel on so you get notified as soon as I go live. If you'd like a private one-on-one phone session with me, send an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com, and please only email to set up a phone session. Let's go over some top signs of love bombing and then top signs of future faking. Remember, all these go hand in hand, and they typically happen within the first 30 to 90 days of you meeting this person. Love bombing sign number 1. The person you're talking to wants all of your time and attention right away. This seems quite flattering in the beginning, and usually we don't notice this because we're into this person a whole hell of a lot too, and we want to spend a lot of time talking with them. So this seems pretty normal. The problem is we have to sleep and we have to work and we have to do other things, and the narcissist is not going to like this. You will know they don't like this because your boundaries and standards are immediately going to start being tested when they want you to do things like stay up all night with them on the phone or texting them, or come over way late at night or at a time that isn't convenient for you, depending on your schedule, or, they want to come over to your house at a time that isn't convenient for you. And if you refuse, how dare you say the word no, or hold a standard or hold a boundary, some of them might pout at you. They might even ghost out, give you a guilt trip. And it's hard to spot all these things when you have no idea about them, especially right in the beginning. But the most important thing to keep in mind here is if somebody seems to just be a little too needy from the get-go, that's a bad sign. And if you do put that standard or boundary in place, or you use the word no, and you get any kind of a negative reaction that's not, oh, hey, sorry, no problem, we'll do something another time, like an adult. If you get a reaction that's very immature, juvenile, and all around childlike, this is a bad sign. Go ahead and call it done because it's already over before it even starts. Sign of love bombing number 2. It seems way too good to be fucking true. Cliche as this one is, I'm sorry, it's accurate as shit. When things are just too good, they love what you love, they hate what you hate. And, that's a technique called mirroring, by the way, used to make you feel as if you've known them for a long time, and it gets you to feel comfortable with them faster. It's very sneaky. If you love good morning texts, you're going to get a romance novel every morning like clockwork, like I did. They're going to give you exactly what you want. Everything is just going to seem too fucking perfect. There's usually no hiccups or very few during the love bombing phase, just depending on how long your phase lasts. But the problem here is nobody is perfect. And if things just all around seem too good, creepy good, where you're saying things like, this must be too good to be true, something is seriously wrong. I know that's terrible to hear, but it's true. Sign number 3 of some love bombing. Things go way too fast. If somebody brand new comes into your life on the 1st of the month, and by the 10th or the 15th, they want serious exclusivity, maybe they're throwing out the L word, maybe they're pushing for sex, all these kinds of things. These are very bad signs. You don't know anybody well enough to be making these choices and saying these things. Not that you're not awesome, but nobody knows enough about you or me or anybody in 30 days or less to know that they love you, that they want to be exclusive with you, things like that. It is just impossible. This one is also really hard to see, again, because when we're into somebody, and which is what they're trying to do here, they want us to go fast. But if you really stop and think about the speed of things, it typically will cause your intuition to spark. It'll feel kind of wrong, or at the very least, it's going to feel rushed, almost kind of forced, and should be problematic and uncomfortable for you. So those are just some signs of love bombing. Now let's talk about the future faking and the most common things that narcissists are going to say and do to make you believe that there is a long-term future with them. And remember, this is done in conjunction with the things that they will do during the whole love bomb. All of this goes hand in hand. Number 1, let's take a trip. You plan the weekend getaway for next summer. You plan that concert trip at the end of the year. Now, obviously, in times like these in the world right now, these things aren't really happening. So you might get something else. But the basic idea here is you plan something together for the distant, but not too distant future. Normally, it's like between like 4 and like 8 or 9 months, something like that, where it's like not a whole year, but it's not like 2 weeks from now. And this has your mind thinking that they're in something for the long haul because they're willing to sit down and plan these things with you. Sometimes you have to put deposits down on things or, plan like transportation or, something like that. So it really gets the wheels in your mind turning that this person's obviously in it for the long haul or they wouldn't be doing this. So sign of future faking. Number 2. We're meant to be. Now, some people use twin flame. Some people say soulmates, however you want to phrase it. But this is something you are more than likely going to be told in some way, shape, or form in your love bombing phase. Something that makes you think there is no other person in this world for you except this person. It really pushes you into thinking, you have found the one for you. As early as this is done, neither of you have any idea whether you're actually meant to be for the long haul or not, but it's a wonderful way to get people to think that they are. Number 3, let's shack up. Oof, moving in together is another huge future fake from a narcissist. However, this one comes with a small disclaimer. I have to mention that some narcs do legit want you to live with them, or they want to come and stay with you, or they want you to, mutually, you're going to both leave your places and get a place together, whatever. Typically, though, this is only done if this does actually happen and you're not just completely future faked and strung along. If this does happen, it's typically for like 3 reasons that are pretty much all the same reason. Number 1, they don't have money. Number 2, they don't have a place to stay. Number 3, they just want someone to take care of them, which is essentially a combination of 1 and 2. So narcs are cheaters, period. They've always got different lines in the water. They're always talking to somebody else. There's always different supply. Period. Done. Exclamation point, whatever. They really don't want to cohabitate with you if they don't have to. My famous line is always, when you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it kind of screws up your dating action. It's almost guaranteed that this false promise won't come to pass, but if it does, you're more than likely going to notice financial issues, issues holding a job, which go back to financial issues, or you notice that they don't really have anywhere good to stay. Maybe they're kind of hopping around, which again goes back to the financial issues. So pay attention to what's going on in their checkbook as soon as you possibly can. Try to pick up on all these things. Number 4, will you marry me? Oh, hell no. I know this person who doesn't even know how you take your coffee wants to get fucking married, right? I have a video on top reasons why narcissists get married, and I'm going to link that up in the right-hand corner of the screen for you right now so you can check it out. But I'll let you in on a little secret, even if you don't watch the video, which is fine. I don't really care. But love is not on that list of top reasons why they get married. Marriage helps them pin down long-term supply. Very plain and very simple. They're going to get more access to some of your things, your money, your assets, if you have them, house, cars, whatever. And now that you have taken this very serious step of commitment with them, you're going to try harder to make things work because most normal people take marriage extremely seriously. So this means you're going to stay longer, try harder, and fight harder, which is it's exactly what love bombing and future faking is designed to make you do. They are throwing everything at you that they possibly can, things that will make you fight harder, fight longer, stay longer, and put up with more bullshit and abuse than you should be dealing with. Number 5, kids, anyone? Female narcs are highly likely to trick men into getting them pregnant. Male narcissists typically play up the family role to a female that they're dating. It's a very sick, twisted game being played here. Nobody should be talking about kids within the first few months of anything, except for maybe the occasional, kids might be cool someday. And that's about it. But again, this is designed to make you think they're going to be around longer. They want to have a family. They're going to be a good parent. And it's going to give you all those fucking fluffy bunny feelings and about things that they have no intention on following through with. And if they do, having kids is seriously just designed to give them somebody else to abuse. But that's a whole nother topic. Number 6, I love you. I always say this when I talk about future faking, but damn, this one hurts the worst because it doesn't matter when they say it. They could say, I love you on day 1. They could say, I love you on day 1,000, day 10,000. It's a lie. It's a lie whenever they say this. A narcissist loves no one, literally, not even themselves. Narcissists are incredibly self-loathing individuals. They don't like themselves. There's certainly no love there. If there was, they would be taking far better care of themselves, and this would not be their default coping mechanism. Narcs are not interested in love. What they are interested in is adoration, admiration, worship, respect. Hell, for some of them, they probably even want to be feared by some people. And they don't want love. They're not interested in giving it to anybody else either. They're never going to get that close to anybody. It's always going to be all about them, but in a non-lovey kind of sense. So if any of these things are being done, something is amiss in your relationship. This is not how real love works. This is not how a relationship is supposed to go. Remember this, survivor, if you remember nothing else from this video. Real love is quiet. Real love is calm. Real love develops and happens over time. It's not rushed and hard and bright and violent and in a big whirlwind of things. It's not a raging bonfire that burns out at the first sign of rain. It's a low flame that endures and lasts over time. So tell me what signs I missed in the comments, and tell me if you think you were love bombed or are being love bombed. How did they do it? What tactics did they use? What kind of future faking bullshit did they give you? Please like, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. I'm sure there was at least one time in your relationship or dealings with a narcissist that you felt some sort of jealousy. Sparking jealousy, especially in a romantic setting with a narcissist, is something that happens a lot. Jealousy is a really powerful tool that narcissists use. And in this video, I want to talk about why a narcissist wants you to be jealous like all the time. And therefore, why do they try to do this constantly? And of course, what do they actually get out of this. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse, start now by subscribing. Join me on my weekly live streams I host every Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where I answer questions from survivors. If you want to talk privately in depth about your situation, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to inquire about my rates and appointment times to schedule a one-on-one chat with me. If you'd like to support the channel and get stuff for doing so, join the Survivors Army. You'll be recognized in my video intros. You'll get bonus content, early releases of all of my videos. All of that information, links, and more are found in the video description just below. So why the narcissist wants you to be jealous? Let's jump right in here. Number one, obviously, it's a hella self-esteem boost. Most of the time, jealousy is sparked in a relationship like this because the narcissist is flirting with somebody else. So always keep this in the back of your mind as well. This is a self-esteem boost, and there are other things on my list. But also remember, this is also them basically trying to get more people on the hook, new supply. Maybe they're hoovering and chatting up and flirting with old supply. It's an added perk, as I say, to everything else on my list that we're going to talk about. It pisses you off and they get somebody else on the hook. Okay, so the self-esteem boost. Narcissists need like a lot of those. They need attention all the time, seriously, gross amounts of it. Ew. Your reaction to it, however, gives them a really nice ego boost. They can see that what they're doing is causing you discomfort, causing you jealousy, causing you anguish, and this makes them feel like they are really something special. You would just really regret losing this because obviously look how upset you're getting. You're crying, or even if you're angry and yelling at them, there's some kind of passion that you're putting forth there. This one really doesn't need much of an explanation. I want to throw it in here that this is more a covert tactic, and I'm not saying that an overt can't or won't do this, but getting you to be jealous just to boost their own ego is kind of a covert characteristic. Your overt narcissist is much more obnoxious, and they kind of get more ego boosts on their own. They don't really need to kind of like sink you down and make you feel like shit in order to get it. Not to say they can't, it's just kind of something I want to throw out there. Number two, your jealousy gives the narcissist a lot of control and power over you. And I literally just did a video about power and control. Jealousy was not on the list because I kind of knew I wanted to talk about it here. I felt jealousy kind of deserved its own video. So this gives them a lot of power and control over you. Them openly flirting with people or attempting to triangulate you, make you jealous, makes you more than just jealous. It's upsetting, and you're sad, you're pissed. And when all those things happen, you start to lose control. Not that we ever really have a whole lot of control with a narcissist. Some are so good at what they do that even when they think they have even when you think you have all the control, like I did, you don't have jack shit. They're very, very good at that. But if you fear that somebody you love is talking to somebody else in a flirting, romantic way, you might try harder to get their attention. This is certainly what I did. I'm sure I'm not the only person who did this. You try harder to show them that you're better than this other person. They don't need this other person. You can do just as much as they can, if not more so. So you overcompensate, more supply, more money, more attention, more sex, whatever. Personally, I was told that me being cheated on was my fault because I didn't give enough attention. This obviously sparked a lot of jealousy in me, so I tried harder. I did pay more attention. There were more things going on. So it works, believe it or not. The narcissist will see you jumping through hoops to keep them, to make them happy. And again, this goes back to the ego boost. They revel in it. It shows them that you are so into them, you won't go anywhere, and really nothing more than that. Says, I have power, I have control. Look what I can make you do. Just by maybe chatting up a cute girl at the grocery store, or maybe just by, texting my ex and, asking him like, hey stranger, what are you doing? Look how much I can get. Look how much control I have over somebody. Again, also possibly more supply for them, a good old Hoover, two birds, one stone. Let's get into number 3. Duh, it's just a test. This test is a more overt tactic, but again, any narc can do this. So I don't really want to get into, is an overt or a covert more likely to do this, because we need to be aware of all these signs, regardless of what kind of a narcissist or toxic person in general we're dealing with, because toxic people like to run tests like this. A narcissist will test to see if you're going to be good supply. They'll test to see how caring you are, how forgiving you are, and of course, how jealous can they make you. So again, any narcissist can do this, and most of them do. They flirt with somebody else or do something that sparks that insecurity, that jealousy in you, and then they proceed to let you know that they did this because they needed to see that you cared about them, that you loved them. This defaults again to you fawning and swooning over them to prove that there's no need for them to do anything like that. Oh, of course I love you. Of course I care about you. There's no reason for you to talk to anybody else. Here, what can I do for you? Yeah, let me give you some more supply and some more bullshit. So are they really doing this because they need that validation from you? Or is this just a lame ass excuse for chatting up somebody else? Honestly, I think this is a little of column A and a little of column B. More supply possibilities, ego boosts, they get the power, the control. You're chasing after them. In some cases, we're tripping over ourselves to prove our love to somebody who really, at the end of the day, just doesn't give a shit. But I think a lot of them hide behind that guise of, oh, well, I need to know that you still care about me. Are they getting some validation from it? Sure. But I think really this is just a lame ass excuse for talking to somebody else. Again, I think that's something that my good old saying, if you've been around long enough, I say this all the time, varies on a narc by narc basis. So there's a lot happening here. And I think a lot of these things go obviously hand in hand. They're getting validation. They're getting the ego boost. They're making you jump through hoops to give them more attention. So I think a lot of these things, these are different talking points here, but I think they all kind of go hand in hand. A narcissist wants all of this shit all of the time. So therefore, you're kept nervous and jealous. Number 4. This is just good old-fashioned revenge. You cannot put it past a narcissist to want to get something over on you if they feel as if you have wronged them. The problem here is that narcissists get so fucking butthurt and jealous and insecure and, about everything. There's really no way most of the time you can even know when they're going to decide to get some revenge on you, because you're probably just going about your day as normal. You don't realize that you've said something that's pissed them off or done something that's pissed them off where they feel they need to get some sort of revenge upon you. I had a dude one time who I believe had a lot of overt narcissistic tendencies, and he tried to hoover me. I didn't realize it was a hoover at the time because I hadn't done research on this. I wasn't living, this was many, many moons ago. So I didn't realize what was happening, but I got hit with the "I miss you" text. Classic hoover. I miss you. So I wasn't really sure how to respond at this time. So I just didn't say anything, stayed quiet for a couple of days. I was like, the dude's kind of a douche, but what do I do? For right now, I'm just not going to do anything. Best thing you can do, by the way, if you're not really sure how to respond to anybody in your life, just don't say anything until you give it a little bit of thought. So about 24 hours later, when I still hadn't answered the "I miss you" text, I got another message, and it was one of those emojis that had kind of one of those really, you're not going to say anything, you're not going to answer me. It was kind of one of those, I can't explain what it looks like. I don't really use a whole lot of emojis, but oh, you're not going to tell me that you miss me too. You're not going to jump through hoops and be like, oh, yay, you're back. Long story short, you could tell the dude was butthurt that I didn't jump right back to his text. So I saw that. I still decided to wait a few days. I don't know. Some days we're all wearing the petty crown. So anyway, when I did respond, I responded with, "Well, duh," which is a great response when somebody says they miss you, by the way. Of course you do. I know how great I am. Again, he did not like this. So I waited almost a week to get back to him. Then I said, "Well, duh." And so when I responded, well, duh, he didn't text me back for like 2 or 3 days. I got nothing. And then when he did decide to come around again, he told me that he didn't see my message. Bullshit. You were waiting on me. You didn't like that I didn't answer you in 24 hours and you were hitting me with second messages. So, while this isn't like an actual like revenge story, because no like revenge was taken out on me besides like a bullshit little silent treatment and pretending you're too busy to see my messages, you can see how absolutely broken somebody toxic gets over something so fucking minor. And that's the point that I really want to stress here, is it you don't even really even know what you did sometimes when they feel like they need to get revenge on you. Nonetheless, whether you know what you did or you did it on purpose or you didn't, or who knows, you're going to be told something along the lines of, well, you did A, B, C, X, Y, Z. So yeah, I talked to my ex, or so, yeah, I chatted with the girl at the bar when I was out with my friends, or something along those lines. In other words, good old fashioned revenge is just that, screw you, you hurt me. And instead of coming to you and talking to you like an adult, I did this. So bleh, get away from these people who think that you need to be like taught a lesson, by the way. Okay. I'm a grown ass woman. We're all grown ass people. I don't need to be taught a lesson because if I do something you don't like, how in the fuck does doing this, what does this teach me? Instead of just coming to me and saying, hey, Jess, I actually don't like when you do whatever the hell it is. That's the only way. Believe it or not, I don't have a fucking crystal ball, and none of us do. So get away from somebody who thinks that like you need to be constantly taught a lesson. Teach them a lesson to have a cup of go fuck themselves. Number 5, relationship check. This is very closely related to the whole testing thing that narcissists do. But this is where the narc tells you that, all this bullshit they're doing, all the flirting, all the chatting up, hoovering, whatever, is just a thing that they're doing to test the relationship, to make sure that you two have a stable, secure relationship. They need to know that you have a really strong, really healthy connection and bond, blah, blah, blah. Well, I did it to make sure you really love me, something like that. Seriously, I hate all of these because they don't make any sense, but very little that a narcissist does actually does make any sense. So, this can be accomplished and, that's fine. But if they would just talk to you about these things, it would be so much easier. That's why all this is garbage. Honestly, I see this being, something that like, this is like stuff survivors have to do because we can't actually have a conversation. We have to do things like maybe spark a little bit of jealousy to see whether or not they give a shit. But the empath, the codependent, the survivors like us are the ones who give like way too much of a shit. So that's garbage. You don't have to test anything. If you're having an insecurity, just come to me and talk to me. Again, this is asking a lot of adult behavior from somebody who's mentally about 6. So there is a lot going on when it comes to jealousy and triangulation. Hell, narcs can triangulate you with something that isn't even real. I remember hating the dude's cell phone, something that wasn't even alive. You know what I mean? But that was how he got all of his cheating done. He did all the mobile games that, he spent way more time doing than he spent time with me. But yet when he cheated, I wasn't spending time, with him. This damn phone went in the bathroom with him. And once he knew I started poking around and trying to figure out what was going on, he started sleeping with the phone under his pillow. So that's what happens. You can be triangulated and made to be jealous of inanimate objects that don't even have life about them. And this is where I want to know what you think about jealousy and the narcissist. Why do they do this? What did I miss? What things were done to you to make you jealous in your relationship? Did it work? Spill the tea with me, like always, in the comments below. Please throw a like on the video. It's quick, painless, and it really helps me out. Please share the video if you think it might help other survivors, and subscribe if you haven't for more videos dealing with narcissistic abuse. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. In this video, I want to talk about how narcissists breadcrumb their victims, and we're starting right now. So what is breadcrumbing? Well, it's a term for when a person is quite flirty with you and sending all those signals that they're super interested in you and maybe want to take things further, but there's no real romantic intent on their end. Breadcrumbing mostly happens on dating apps and social media, texting apps, all that stuff. It's very convenient. It's a super easy way for narcs and toxic people in general to breadcrumb. They can text and send pictures and do all those kinds of things, but they never have to make a real commitment, and they never really have to pursue you or even meet you in person. Essentially, this is what you call being strung along and given the bare minimum, that minimum investment by somebody who has no interest in things ever being taken very seriously. There are little bits of flirting and future faking just kind of sprinkled along for you to follow, hence the breadcrumbs. So let's talk about what breadcrumbing looks like and what are the warning signs to look out for. Most importantly, this is huge with people who are narcissistic. Words don't match actions. They tell you how cute you are, how beautiful, how handsome, how lovely. They're super into you. They love talking to you, but nothing ever happens. Nothing ever goes anywhere. They don't ask to meet you. They'll change the subject. If you talk about, hey, where are things going? What are we? Are we going to meet up? They just keep dropping half-assed conversation and compliments in your lap when they feel like it to string you along a little further, or perhaps if they feel as if you are pulling away. Next is you have no idea what you are, quote unquote. Are you together? Is this person your partner? Is this casual? Is this a friends with benefits thing? Am I just kind of here as a void filler for when they want to text somebody and they're bored? Do they even like me? Do they like me? Whatever. You have no idea where you stand with this person because they're not telling you. You are just flat out being strung along. Next up is these are the people who are just too busy, quote unquote. Now, there are legitimately some people who are busy, but let's kind of talk about what it means in this kind of sense here. You'll get those text messages when you talk about meeting or taking things further, and you will always be met with some kind of an excuse, something along the lines of, well, as soon as work slows down, ... As soon as I finish these exams, as soon as something else here, there, and everywhere. Actually meeting or doing anything, all of those plans, if you can even make them with a person like this, they get pushed farther and farther and farther back. They always seem too busy to be able to give you any time or whatever it is that you're looking for. They run hot and cold. This is really, really important to kind of keep in mind here. Some days they blow up your phone and then all of a sudden they're gone. 4 days later, they come back with more idle chit-chat bullshit that doesn't go anywhere. And then poof, they are gone again. Running hot and cold is a very common trait with narcissists and again, toxic people in general. When they are cold with you, rest assured they are running hot with somebody else. So those are all little examples there of breadcrumbing and definitely some red flags, warning signs, however you want to say it, so to speak. If you would like to talk about a narcissistic relationship that you feel that you're in, or maybe you were in, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to get private chats and coaching with me if you feel you need it. So why do narcs and super toxic-y people do this? Well, first of all, it is low investment as shit. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, they don't have to do anything. You flirt back with them and, there's a little bit of something going on, maybe sending photos, maybe you're sexting, things like that. But really, other than that, they don't have to do jack nor shit about anything. Next is they really feel in control. Narcissists love power and control. You dig them and they know it. And they don't have to do anything about it but send you these crappy little messages that never really go anywhere. They also get a huge ego boost, which just, goes right along with the control and everything else. You like them and you want them and you chase them. And trust me when I tell you, somebody highly narcissistic relishes every single solitary second of that ego boost that you provide every time they're just bored sitting on the sofa and they send a, hey cutie, hey handsome, what are you up to? They love how fast you respond and everything that you give them. Next up is they're usually in a relationship. And again, I go back to you're the secondary, the second string, the side piece, as all the crazy kids are saying now. You are not their main source of supply. You literally get what is left over. You get the crumbs because they are already in. Well, the other person probably thinks it's a committed relationship. I assure you, the narcissist does not think those things, but they're in some kind of one-sided relationship anyway, where the other person doesn't know what's going on. And that's why you're not getting very much, because they already have their main source. You are the void filler, what they do when they're bored, what they do when they have a fight with their significant other, or something, but it will never, ever go anywhere. This gives them happiness and validation and a whole bunch of other things that we just talked about, because they know that you like them and you make it very clear. You want to take things further. You're asking, what are you? So on and so forth. So how were you strung along, and how were you kind of told or convinced that somebody was really into you? And what kept you on the hook? Was it the compliments? Was it something else? Tell me in the comments. If you want more information on all the tricks that narcs love to use, I have a whole playlist for you to jump into on the screen. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. In this video, I want to talk about things the narcissist really has no interest in. Believe it or not, love is right there at the top of the list, so let's start there. The first thing a narcissist doesn't want is love. I know that sounds super weird, because why would somebody love bomb you and make you feel so wonderful and throw the L word at you super fast and push for a physical relationship if they didn't want love from you? Well, as far as love goes, it never really gets that deep for a narcissist. A narcissist has no problem telling you they love you because that's what you want to hear or what you need to hear. They might know that you want a serious relationship and they don't, but they have to kind of seal that deal. So they begin to tell you that they love you. I'm sure some of them even do think that they love you, but as far as a narcissist thinking that they love you, love with a narcissist is extremely conditional. They quote unquote love you only as long as you do what they want and as long as you do what they say. As far as them wanting your love, that's swell and all, but they want different things, which I will talk about a little later on in the video. Narcissists don't like the idea of love, because when you love somebody, you're eventually going to get vulnerable with them. There's an intimacy there, and not just a sexual kind. You share, you have a bond, stuff that narcissists are just not interested in doing at all. Be vulnerable, share things about themselves. Oh, dear Lord, trust somebody? Nah, that's all junk that a narcissist is very, very afraid of, and therefore that isn't going to happen. There are also other things that narcissists have no desire for. Number 2, a narcissist doesn't want to be fixed. If they don't work, for example, they certainly don't want your help getting a job, working on their resume, having a conversation about, well, maybe they should go to college or go back to college and further their education. If they have some kind of substance abuse issue, they don't want your help getting clean. They don't want to hear about any programs. They don't want therapy for a relationship or for themselves. They will say that they want these things when they're in a pinch, but really, this is somebody who doesn't want to change. If they won't change for themselves, and they won't, they certainly won't change for you. These are people who jump from situation to situation and relationship to relationship because they don't want to compromise. They don't want to change. They don't want to solve problems. And being quote unquote fixed, well, as far as they're concerned, there isn't anything wrong with them. Number 3. Yeah, they don't want commitment either. They want you to be committed for sure, but them, nah. Just because you are in a relationship with them doesn't mean they're in one with you. The narcissist is always looking for the next best thing, the bigger, better deal, somebody else to get more or better supply and attention from. And don't think that getting married solves that problem either. I promise you, it doesn't. If you would like to talk about a narcissistic relationship that you feel that you're in, or maybe you were in, you can send an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chats and coaching with me if you feel you need it. Number 4, A narcissist isn't too keen on stability and supportiveness. They love fighting, gossip, drama, stirring the pot, disturbing the peace, starting shit, however you want to say it. After a while, you'll find that there is always something wrong. There's no stability in the relationship. Everything always seems flipped upside down. There's always an issue. Usually there's always a problem with you. And the narcissist never seems happy. They get very sour, in some kind of a funk all the time. Nothing is perfect, especially not you. Nobody can do anything right, especially not you. And it all falls apart right after love bombing. When the romance novel and the whirlwindy love bombing is over for the narcissist, they get very bored and they begin to scour the earth for your replacement. They devalue and torture you to keep that supply going. It just kind of goes from a lovey-dovey experience to a very hostile, unhappy place. So a narcissist is never going to make you feel safe or secure. There won't be any support there. Like I say, there won't be any stability, male or female, never going to happen. They need things to be confusing. They need you to be hurt and spun around. You never know what the hell is going on with somebody like this. They like when you're upset and angry and sad. There will be no peace with a narcissist. And all the while, they're probably telling you how much they hate drama and they don't want to get involved in it. But you'll see they are pretty much not just in it, but the cause of most of it. They don't want peace. They don't want things to settle down. The more uproar, the better. So what the hell do they want? If they don't want love, what is it they're really after? Well, that is supply, plain and simple. They want basically attention. It's all the same thing. It's like air for a narcissist. In place of love, they want to be admired, adored. Some want to be feared, worshipped, respected. They want things like praise and status, power, control, drama. They want all their flying monkeys and their entourage, which I call the staff of the narcissist, people who are pretty oblivious to the fact that they work for this person. Money and sex, I mean, it really is an endless list. Whatever it is that you got, they pretty much want their hands on it. So, of course, my videos never completely cover everything. So what else do you think a narcissist has absolutely no desire for? Tell me about it down in the comments. If you want more information on narcissistic abuse, there are videos on the screen for you to check out. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you haven't, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. I think what happened to me in the very beginning of my relationship with a narcissist is the same thing that happens to a lot of us. And what I want to do in this video is just kind of go over my theory on this and throw some ideas out there. It seems clear to me after speaking with clients, analyzing my own story to nauseam and beyond, and doing my own research, 9 times out of 10, the narcissist, like the vultures that they are, they seem to find us when we're at a very low point in our lives. It certainly worked for me that way. I had been flat out rejected by a guy, wasn't feeling good about myself at all, hated my job and most other aspects of my life. And then all of a sudden, someone swooped in. And when they do this, they offer you something. This person who is highly narcissistic, they learn you so fast and they quickly offer you what you seem to need in that moment. They take care of you if you're sick. They promise you everything is going to be okay. They offer you emotional support if you're going through a divorce, a custody battle. Maybe you lost your job. If you're heartbroken, the love bombing is insane and they offer you what seems in that moment to be exactly that one thing that you've been missing, that one thing that you've been looking for. It's certainly what I fell for. Again, my self-esteem could not have been lower. I was rejected and hated everything. And here came someone who told me everything I wanted to hear, texting me all the time, calling me all the time, telling me that they wanted to spend every second of every day with me. And we did, of course, in love bombing, and over and over telling me, how could someone reject you? What a fool they were, this, that, and the other. As love bombing does, it built me up, of course, only for me to be knocked down later. What I'm learning is they really only start out by offering you one thing. They give you care, they give you love, they give you support through something, through one thing. They're fulfilling one need that we have that is currently unmet, something we need so badly that we don't completely investigate the situation and we jump in and we take it. And when we do this, we assume that because we got that one thing, we're getting everything else along with it. We're also going to get loyalty and respect and love, validation, appreciation. We're going to get all of it. But we aren't, and we don't, as we all know. It's almost like we don't see anything else. We're getting that one need met, and that's all we care about in that moment. In my situation, all the guy did was tell me the last dude was an idiot for saying, hey, thanks, but no thanks. And, I was so beautiful. And he was actually lucky that this had happened to me because now he found me and he loves me together forever. All that stuff that's like gross to talk about at this point. But, that was it. That was all I got. And it's like someone offers us some like super shitty 5%, but we don't see it as all we're getting is 5%. We look at it like it's 100%. And of course it's not. Worst, yet is all of this could totally be avoided if we would just learn how to love ourselves, learn how to validate and respect ourselves. Also learning how to handle rejection and heartache and pain. We have to learn how to do all of these things, and we have to learn how to do all of these things ourselves. We can't just be lured in by the possibility of one thing. Of course, in hindsight, I realize the mistakes, and I'm sure so do the rest of us. But I've always heard kind of like this expression that when someone's unhappy in a relationship, sometimes they're unhappy because they feel like they're only getting like 80%. And of course, we all want 100%. So this person will cheat or break up and be with somebody else. And they think that this new person has that 100%, when really all they're getting is that 20%, that one unmet need that the other person who gave them 80% wasn't giving them. They think they went and got 100%. And all you got was that one little piece that was missing. Essentially, they leave 80 for 20 under this guise that they're actually getting 100. It's kind of like what I did. I mean, the dude wasn't even 20%, but think about it. I thought I was getting everything 100% and more. All I got were some words in my situation, some bullshit words that clearly he didn't mean, but I saw those words as something so much more than what it was. I put so much value on that one thing, and I wasn't paying attention to the rest of it. I've said for over 2 years now on this channel, I truly still believe the love bombing phase of this cycle of abuse is truly the most sinister of all the abuse, because we're just being set up. We're being put up on a pedestal to get knocked down later. We're lambs just led to the slaughter. Sure, devaluing and discarding and all that other stuff is painful and agonizing, but you don't feel agony if you didn't know bliss beforehand, and vice versa. But not only is the agony at points like sometimes really unbearable, the bliss then isn't even real. So there's nothing but agony. The bliss is false. It's not real. So we really have to be careful about what we're being offered by somebody. I think it's important to keep in mind that there is so much we have to do for ourselves and not rely on other people to do it. There isn't always going to be somebody else around to love us, validate us, help us get over a breakup, a divorce, a death, a whatever. Sometimes there just isn't going to be somebody around to make us feel better. We have to do it. We have to learn. We have to research. We have to find support groups, other people to talk to. Some of us need therapy, possibly medication, whatever it is. We have to really, really learn how to, among other things, become incredibly emotionally strong and independent as well. If you'd like to talk about a narcissistic relationship that you're in, or maybe you were in, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chats and coaching with me if you feel you need it. Let me know your thoughts on what the narcissist actually does offer us. What were you offered? What was that unmet need that you had that this person seemed to, in the moment, fulfill for you? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. Today, I want to try and tackle answering the question, do narcissists really love us? This video is going to be me speaking from my own experience with narcissists and from my research that I have been doing for nearly 3 years independently. My thoughts, my theories, why I have arrived at these conclusions, and so on. Does a narcissist love you? Did one love me? Do they even love at all? Yes. Yes, I believe they do. And what I want to do is explain how I arrive at this conclusion. When we first meet somebody highly toxic like a narcissist, we are love bombed by this person. Love bombing is that strong attempt that they make in the very beginning of the relationship where they try to influence us and try to get us to fall madly in love with them as fast as possible. They use techniques like mirroring, where they hate what you hate, love what you love, and try to convince us psychologically that we've known them so much longer than we really have. Things are effortless and easy. We have far too much in common for things not to work out, right? They also use heavy future faking, promises of a long, happy life together, going places and doing things, getting married, having a family, reaching some kind of goals together. This person behaving this way, putting us up on a pedestal, causes us to react in kind. And we even begin to love bomb this person back. We blow up their phone, their social media to talk to them. We cancel plans, overlook things to spend as much time as possible with them, and we begin to feel completely addicted to this person, and we just love how all of it makes us feel. We pretty much know this to be how every abusive relationship with a narc begins to a certain degree. And this is where I feel not so much the debate comes in, but the questions. Things like, was all of this fake? Was it a lie? Did any of this mean anything to the narcissist? I believe that when somebody narcissistic meets us, they are in fact smitten with us. They are very much in love, so to speak, with us. I've said this for a while now. They pick up very quickly on things like we have empathy, we're very sympathetic, helpful, nice, kind, but they also quickly pick up on other things. Do we have an addictive personality? Do we have much of a backbone? Are we codependent? Have we been in abusive relationships before? Have we stayed with people where it didn't work out way longer than we should have? Is there a pattern of behavior? Narcissists are ultimately looking for perfection, that perfect source of supply. In the beginning, we are seen as perfect, and I believe this does, in fact, make the narcissist fall for us. I think there are feelings of quote unquote love there. However, the narcissist's idea of what real, true love really is vastly different than how most other people see it. In more recent months, when I make videos or I speak with clients, what I've started to do is compare the way a narcissist, quote unquote, loves, and I'll be saying that a lot through the video. I compare the way a narcissist loves us with kind of the way a 5-year-old child loves their parents. You are the best mom or the best dad in the world. You're fun, you help them, you're caring, you're supportive, so on and so forth, until inevitably something happens, right? This 5-year-old child gets in trouble at school or at home, or they want to do something that they're not allowed to do. They get told no, they're caught doing something wrong, and you attempt to hold them accountable for their behavior. Then you see a hissy fit, and it becomes, I hate you, mom. I hate you, dad. You are the worst. I hate you. I can't believe you're doing this. Narcissists are extremely immature by nature, and you can see them act like young children constantly. Mom and dad won't budge on something, won't let me do something, but the child is going to do it anyway, or goes and gets what they want or need from somebody else. This is what a narcissist does. A narcissist loves, quote unquote, us as long as we are perfect. By perfect, what that means is we let them do whatever the fuck they please. Let them be children with no accountability, no responsibility. You can do this, you can do that, whatever. The world is your oyster at 5 years old. Go do whatever you want. Having this perfect source, finding this perfect source is never going to happen for a narcissist, unfortunately for them. At some point, we all catch them doing something wrong, lying, stealing, cheating, or we tell them, no, I'm not giving you more money. I'm not taking you somewhere. I'm not doing A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And then suddenly, without warning, once we've done this, we are devalued. We are no longer perfect. There are other reasons why we are devalued as well, but I don't want to get into all that in this video. The point is, we never stay perfect forever. We get old, boring, they want somebody else, that new car smell has worn off, and they're over it, things like that. The bottom line here is this quote unquote love is very immature. It's a lusty ideal that a narcissist has, a fantasy that plays out in their mind where the love bombing, whirlwindy romance novel lasts forever. Yes, a narcissist is incredibly selfish. They want what they want, but I really do think that there is some kind of quote unquote loving feeling that they do have. This is a very general blanketed statement. There are some narcs that are complete sociopaths, psychopath. They don't feel anything. They don't want anything to do with this. They're not very emotional. But most of the time, I really do truly feel as if there is something there. If you would like to talk one-on-one about a narcissistic relationship that you're in right now, or maybe you are still working on getting over a relationship like this, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chats and coaching with me if you feel you need it. I have to add that this is simply how I see things, having gone through what I have and learning and understanding things about the disorder and processing all this information in a way that seems to make sense to me. I am well aware that we all need to see specific things in certain ways to be able to sleep at night. And maybe this is just some fluffy bunny idea I have that helps me sleep at night. I am just at the point in my life where I just really don't care. I'm extremely indifferent to the narcissist who abused me. I understand why he does what he does. I know for a fact he's incredibly lonely, even though he's with, I was going to say one woman, but it's obviously more than one. I would bet every dollar I have on it. But regardless of how many women he has, I know he's lonely. I know he's sad, and I know he hates himself. I believe he knows what he did to me, and he has surely done it to other people, and I do believe that he knows that it's wrong. He has to live with what he does, and it explains a lot more of narcissistic behavior. For years now, I have stopped seeing narcissists as powerful. They aren't. They want us to think they are, but nobody who has to behave like a bully, a liar, a manipulator is a happy, well-adjusted person. I may have only spent 18 months in my situation, but I saw that man at his lowest. I have seen him cry hysterically. I have been there when he has seemed devastated about something, more than one thing. He cried and curled up into me like a sad little boy. And I don't say any of this to be maculatory at all. I say this because I have seen that there is no real power there. They have weaknesses and insecurities. They're riddled with them. There's more going on in the mind of a narcissist than just crush, kill, destroy. I will always believe that a narcissist can be a wonderful, magnanimous person if they would just get the hell out of their own way, get help, cope better in more healthy ways, and so on. But that is not my job. As a survivor, my job, my mission is to help other survivors, and it always will be. But there's a lot more to a narcissist than just all of their trauma. We all have trauma. I don't want to be defined by mine. Some people take an extremely different approach to life. My trauma will not break me. Narcissists let this trauma consume them, and I am the powerful one here. I am the one who came through this better than before, as we all do, and maybe you're working on doing that right now. There is love within a narcissist. Sometimes it's too deeply buried to see. And because of the trauma, it becomes a very skewed, twisted, gross, unhealthy idea of love, a very immature, adolescent, almost high school idea of love, this lusty, ideal fantasy world. It's all twisted, distorted, and confusing, and it always will be with a narcissist. True love terrifies a narcissist, and it always will. A true love in general, real love, is without a doubt the most wonderful thing in the world, but also one of the scariest. Relationships and love are kind of like at-will employment. You can leave this job at any time for any reason, and they can let you go at any time for any reason, or just no reason at all. That's terrifying to know that you're going to rip your heart out of your chest and give it to somebody, and then what they do with it is kind of all up to them. But real true love requires you to open up and be vulnerable, give somebody your heart, and then hope they handle it with care. And to sum it all up, narcissists love people the same way we do. The best way they know how, the most comfortable way they know how. They're not going to get in real deep. They're going to keep people at arm's length. These are things that they're terrified of. They don't want to do this. And that's how we all handle everything in all of our lives. Just the very best way that we know how. It's really important that we learn that this and this person does not work for us, and we need to go find something that does work. As always, if you have thoughts, feelings, opinions, ideas about narcs, love, relationships, whatever, you can feel free to leave those down in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. As you move through a relationship with a narcissist, it becomes obvious that they're pretty jealous of you. They can become clearly resentful and even hate things about you. There are things about us that a narcissist does simply adore, however. In this video, I want to talk about what these qualities are and how we can work on it, because none of them are actually very good. Number one, you have no standards. Standards are easy, but also not. We have standards that are exactly where they should be when someone shows interest in us, but we have no desire for them. It's easy to say, ew, no, get out of here. When we like somebody, though, a lot of times for a lot of people, those standards go right out the window. This is especially true when we are being love bombed by a narcissist. This person seems so into us that we begin to let our guard down and do things that might seem quite out of character for us. In a lot of cases, our standards just completely vanish. It's important to have a heart-to-heart with yourself about what qualities, values, characteristics, etc., you want from somebody, and hold every single person to that standard, whether you are attracted to them or not. No matter how much we like somebody or want this person to like us, standards need to be maintained throughout with every single person. Number two, you have no boundaries. It goes hand in hand with standards. We need a firm grasp on what our boundaries are. What are deal breakers? Things that nobody is allowed to do to us. Things that are unforgivable. I won't go on about this too much because standards, boundaries, we get it. Got to have both of them. Super important. And narcs love it when we don't. Number three, you don't give consequences. Once you know what your standards are, boundaries, that's great. But now you have to do something with them. And if you're dealing with somebody highly narcissistic, chances are you're not. All people will push your buttons. It's human nature. We've all gotten an inch and tried to take a mile at some point. And with a narcissist, this is ramped up and it pretty much never stops. Constant. They try to get you to lower your standards. They'll push you past your boundaries, and there has to be a consequence for it. Did they lie? Cheat? Steal? Whatever. Okay, what did you do about that? Was there a punishment for a line being crossed with you? There probably wasn't. If there was, it wasn't probably of much consequence. I think it was Dr. Phil who said, we teach people how to treat us. I'm not sure who he stole the line from, but the point is, it's true. When I was cheated on, I confronted, I cried, I got angry, I blew up like a can of hot air, and then that was it. I didn't leave, I didn't distance myself. In fact, I tried harder to get his attention back on me. There was no consequence. In fact, there was a reward. This happens a lot, rewarding bad behavior. Everyone needs an understanding of your standards and your boundaries. There's no need to be aggressive about it. You can let people know that you don't appreciate certain things, but if that line is continuously crossed, a consequence needs to happen. Otherwise, you teach people that it's okay to do to you what they were doing, and they will continue to do so. A consequence needs to be something, however, that you are prepared to deliver. If your consequence for cheating is to leave this person, as an example, you have to make damn sure you can follow through on that. And if you discover that you're being cheated on, you leave. Otherwise, you teach somebody like a narcissist that the behavior is not okay, but you're not actually going to do anything about it. You're not going to leave them. It's nothing that they can't handle. Never think that a narcissist sees kindness or forgiveness as anything but weakness. If you would like to talk one-on-one about a narcissistic relationship that you're in right now, or maybe you are still working on getting over a relationship like this, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chats and coaching with me if you feel you need it. Number 4, you give too many chances. This one can be tough because we all have different breaking points, but really, how many times should you forgive somebody for things like lying, cheating, not keeping their promises, stealing, so on and so forth? The answer is not very many, far less than we do give. The key here is actions speak louder than words. Are you hearing "I'm sorry" 100 times, but there's no change in the behavior? Then they aren't very damn sorry, are they? I have forgiven a lot of people for a lot of things, but they do not keep getting to do the same thing to me over and over again. Sometimes things and people do need to be forgiven, sure, but I can forgive you and still keep it moving. I can accept what's happening, but know that you don't have a place in my life because this is not going to happen again and again and again, regardless of whether or not you're sorry. And somebody continuing to do the same unacceptable behavior, they're not sorry. So you forgive if you can. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you still keep it moving. I have spoken many times about how I have forgiven the narcissist that I dealt with for what he put me through, and I have. However, it doesn't mean I will ever have anything to do with him ever again. Number 5, you overlook red flags and accept low standards. Not only has this happened to me, but I've heard this from clients. I've even found it in blogs that narcissists say sneaky little things to get you to lower your standards and accept the low standards that they are offering you. And things that seem kind of innocuous at the time, they don't really mean anything. It's something that might just be said in passing or conversation. Things like, well, I never apologize. Or when I get mad, I don't text you for a while. I don't reach out to you. Or if you want to see me, then you'll be the one who reaches out. Just little things like that, that most of us blow off or even go, oh, that seems kind of weird, but then you just don't think much of it and you keep going. However, it is teaching us to expect very, very little from this person. And that's all they have to give and all they're gonna give. Now you know they don't apologize. Now you know they're not gonna call you or you have to chase them. And if you continue to carry on with this person, having heard that information, you have now accepted those low standards. If someone says to you, well, I'm never going to apologize, or I'm not a person who apologizes, and you continue on with the friendship, the relationship, you have now accepted those standards. And you can't be mad later when you feel an apology is due you and you don't get one. And someone narcissistic will be very quick to point out, well, I told you I don't apologize, so what's your problem? They're essentially saying, I've already stated this to you. I've already told you I don't do this. You accepted it. What's your problem now? We're finding these red flags. We are finding these low standards, and we're just accepting them and moving forward. Number 6, you defend them and yourself. When the narcissist acts out of line, a lot of victims are quick to make a defense for this person and offer up excuses for incredibly juvenile behavior. When I was being treated badly, hell, I defended the man to myself. Well, he's just having a bad day. Don't be so hard on him. Don't be so judgmental. Blah, blah, bullshit, blah. We can also defend ourselves, much to our detriment. If we have a conversation with this person about a lie that they told us, for example, they will, in true narcissistic fashion, blame shift and tell you that you're the liar. All of this is your fault. And most of the time, this does exactly what it's intended to do. And we jump into defense mode. I don't lie to you. What are you talking about? Here, you can look at, through my phone. I didn't do these things. I didn't say this. Why would you say this about me? On and on and on. Now you're standing there upset and defending yourself to the narc, and the narcissist is off the hook as you plead with them to see that you aren't the liar, which they already know. Because if you did half of the shit to them that they accuse you of doing, they would have moved on by now, but they're still with you. As always, this isn't every bad habit, of course, and how you can fix it. So tell me what I missed down in the comments. And if you can share solutions to these bad habits that narcs just love, feel free to share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. The good news about all this, though, is it can be worked on. We don't have to carry on these bad habits. We can adjust these things to where it doesn't happen anymore. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. Love bombing is what happens in the very beginning of a relationship with a narcissist. In this video, I want to talk about some signs of this, but I also want to talk about mutual love bombing. Do we actually love bomb the narcissist, and what does that mean exactly? Love bombing comes down to creating an intoxicating atmosphere. However, it also creates issues with control, dependency, and idealization. We know that love bombing is a clear red flag because it makes people become completely dependent on one another. So here are some signs of love bombing. Keep in mind, not all of these may have happened in your relationship or your dealings with someone who is highly toxic and highly narcissistic. Number 1, this person wants all of your time. To build up and successfully love bomb someone, this person needs to have all of your time and attention. They will probably text and call constantly, blow you up on social media, want to see you all the time. Another glaring red flag is if they react badly when you refuse to see them all the time and you refuse to give them all your time and attention. Number 2, words. It's quite common that narcissists and toxic people will do something as simple as tell you everything that you have always wanted to hear. Constant compliments, how much they can offer you, what they want to give you in the future. They can and often do refer to things like soulmate and twin flame. They might even swoop in with over-the-top gestures, fancy trips, vacations, long, lengthy romantic love letters or texts, and so on. Number 3, the push. Narcissists often push for things very early on in the relationship. Sex, throwing the L word around, moving in together, even bringing up marriage quickly in a lot of cases. It's usually rolled up into a term known as future faking. A lot of things are offered or promised to us to make us feel as if things are going in a very excellent and very long-term direction with this person when, in fact, once the narcissist gets what they want, it is all going to change very quickly, as we full know, as devaluing is going to begin. Number 4, the expectation. Narcissists love bomb to build us up before they tear us down in the devaluing phase of the relationship. However, narcissists never do anything, not one damn thing, without wanting something back. It is not in the nature of somebody highly narcissistic and probably having the narcissistic personality disorder. Highly unlikely they're going to do anything if there is no reward in sight. And the reward is you love bombing them back, you chasing them, praising them, putting them up on a pedestal, which is what happens a lot. We do place this person on a pedestal. We even love bomb them back, which is what I want to talk about here in just a second. In fact, this is where the trouble starts, because once we begin to idealize this person, they can do no wrong. They do go up on that pedestal, even when they begin to behave inappropriately and devaluing is upon us. If you'd like to talk with a survivor and get some help and support for what you're going through, you can set up appointments to chat by emailing me at bookachatwithjess@gmail.com. So, do we actually love bomb a narcissist? Something really interesting that I've learned in all of my research over the last 3 or 4 years is not all love bombing is calculated. Not all love bombing is actually meant to consume someone and get them hooked so desperately on another person. Essentially, not all love bombing is done with malicious intent. Love bombing is something that is absolutely done with a motive. We can't deny that. But not every motive is completely wicked. I believe that in a lot of cases, as we are being love bombed, we actually love bomb the narcissist in reciprocation. There are some instances where love bombing, while being associated with narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder, can also be done by those who have attachment disorders. Now, I am certainly not going to sit here and proclaim that I know everything about attachment disorders because oof, that would just end fast and wouldn't go well because I don't. I don't know much about them at all. But from reading about mutual love bombing, I can sit here and transparently say, I do feel as if I'm guilty of mild degrees of love bombing people in my past. And I know that I'm not alone in this. I read several articles about it. I can't be the only one who has ever experienced this. I've taken time to learn about myself. I know I have a codependent personality style, and it appears I do have some degree of attachment issue. So I believe a lot of people who are victims of narcissistic abuse have mutually love bombed a narcissist. Narcissists love bomb with specific intent, don't they? We know this. They need to get people hooked on them as fast as possible before their true self can be hidden no longer. My research has uncovered that there's a side of love bombing that is more, I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but it's more innocent and maybe even a little bit naive. And I have had a very, can't stress that enough, very unpopular opinion for quite some time now that we actually aren't all that dissimilar from a narcissist. I believe highly empathic people and narcissists have trauma and issues with that. I feel we both have attachment issues. To me, the main difference between a highly empathic, possibly codependent person and someone highly narcissistic is people who are highly empathic have good intentions. We aren't willing to stoop as low as a narcissist is to get our needs met. We all have needs, right? That's a very human, very normal thing. We're just not willing to do what a narcissist is willing to do in such a calculated manner in order to get those needs met. All people have narc tendencies, can't stress that enough. Not everyone has the full-blown personality disorder, but we all have narky tendencies. Again, normal. I feel a lot of people who have been through trauma and perhaps have abandonment and attachment issues, I believe you can just kind of, I don't want to say lump them together, but I believe people who have suffered from those things, I think they love bomb. Just the intentions are a little bit different. It seems as if it's not solely something that narcissistic people do. So if we've been love bombed or we believe that we might be doing this, one of the best things that we can do, one of the quickest things that we can do is recognize the behavior. That's why I wanted to go over some of the signs of love bombing. We want to take a look at ourselves and other people and see how all of this works. Sometimes we don't even know what a healthy relationship looks like, which I think is also something really worth looking into. When all we've had are toxic relationships, or if we've had a toxic, unhealthy upbringing, we just might not even know what something healthy looks like. We need to know what love bombing looks like. Is this something we do? What does something healthy look like? Those are great moves that we can all make as we heal and move forward from these relationships. Whether our intentions are more simple and naive or just cold and calculating, love bombing, either way you slice it, is very, very unhealthy. Most highly narcissistic people have no intention of changing. It is not in their curriculum. They're not going to do this. But who we can change and work on is ourselves. You can learn what to spot as far as love bombing and narcissistic relationships go. Some of those things I just touched on. We can absolutely do those things to make sure we're not love bombing, that we're working on attachment issues, if we even do have those, and what exactly is it that's happening as we move forward. Tell me how you were love bombed down in the comments if you feel comfortable enough to share that. Also, tell me if you feel like you did mutual love bombing in some relationships or in some dealings that you've had with narcissistic people or even just well adjusted people. Do you think there is any validity to mutual love bombing? Let me know. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. You see them on social media, you hear it from friends or people you work with. The narcissist is with somebody new. Maybe you see this and know that they've been with this person longer than they were in a relationship with you. So the problem has to be you, right? You were the problem because look how happy the narcissist is now with this new person. In this video, I want to give you proof the new supply is not, in fact, a successful relationship for the narcissist. Number 1, the immense boredom. Someone highly narcissistic has the attention span of a moth. It doesn't matter how great of a source the narcissist has, they get tired of it. It's really hard to imagine, but it's true. We're only ever brand new one time, and that one time does not last very long. There's a reason why when people talk about love bombing, they typically say you get 3 to 6 months of a good time before it all just falls apart. As soon as you're being devalued by the narcissist, they are very, very bored of you and pretty much over the relationship. You might not even notice that you're being devalued, as a lot of the time it's incredibly subtle as it starts. Boredom can be dangerous for anyone, but especially a narcissist. Number 2, their long cast of extras. Since we just talked about the narcissist getting bored and how the new car smell can wear off really fast, naturally, what's going to happen when a narcissist gets really bored? Well, they're going to hoover one of their exes. Have you been hoovered by this person? They're already over their new source of supply and going behind the back of their new supply by talking to you. They might reach out, move forward, and groom other sources or begin to love bomb other people. A narcissist will always keep adding to their harem, and the harem refers to the group of people that the narcissist is abusing or has abused, the people on the back burner simply waiting their turn, and so on. There's a revolving door of supply, and it's just never, ever going to stop with a narcissist. Number 3, the social media mogul. I'm so tired of hearing about the narcissist on social media and tired of hearing about social media in general, but I have to talk about this. Don't take anything that the narcissist says or does on social media seriously. It's not hard to add a friend or show you're in a location or add a relationship status, a photo. All of us do it every single day. None of it has to be true. I can go on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else and say, hey, I'm married to the greatest, most wonderful man in the world and tall and dark and handsome and perfect. And next summer we're going to Greece. Okay, none of this is happening. None of that, none of it at all. But I can say it. So who cares? Who cares what they're putting out there on social media? All I have to do is stand next to a hot guy at the grocery store and take a selfie and post it. Oh, look who I'm with. Don't do that because it's really creepy and cringy, but you still can. Why do you care so much about what you see or hear on their social media? That's the most important thing here. The thing you really have to ask yourself is, why is some of this bullshit that probably isn't even true? Why do you care so much about it? Here's the situation. No matter if they're madly in love with this person or using the fuck out of them, they've moved on. When a relationship ends, both people are going to move on and find someone else to be with. What they do with their new person, honestly, I hate to break it to you, it's none of your business. It has nothing to do with you. We really have to learn to stop being so angry about what a person does with somebody else. They're not doing it with you. Here's the thing. Oh, they're going on this vacation. They're doing this. They're doing that. We never did this. Do you want all of that back? Do you really? Do you want all the bullshit that comes with the selfies and the vacays and the parties and the day in, day out with this person? Because I promise you, since you have to take the bad with the good, you really, really, really don't want all of that back anyway. If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through in a really toxic relationship, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chats with me. Number 4, anything but love. Narcissists don't want love. Love is scary. As I've said a million times, love requires intimacy and vulnerability on a level that a narcissist is just incapable of reaching. Do you want to know what a narcissist actually really wants? Attention, respect, fear, power, money, glory, fame, admiration, adoration, sex, control. Basically anything but love. They're not interested in that idea at all. It's too permanent, it's too scary, and they don't want anything to do with it. So this relationship they're in, they're not in love with this person, and they don't care how much that person loves them. You, the new supply, anybody, we are a list of goods and services. They don't care how you feel, as long as you cough up what's rightfully theirs. Again, the respect, the fear, the money, the glory, all that. They don't care about anything else. Number 5, the super sucky hoovers. I mentioned this briefly in the video earlier that if they're hoovering you or maybe another ex or they're grooming a new source, the person they have now is already old news. And if you haven't been hoovered, you just simply haven't waited long enough. Another thing that I want to point out that I referenced earlier is the love bombing phase doesn't last forever. Think about it, the love bombing phase. That's what I want you to pay attention to. This is a phase. You know this person has high levels of narcissism. You're learning about all that right now. Maybe you've been on my channel for years and you already know all this. You know that this little love bomby, they're so in love and everything is wonderful. You know that that isn't going to last and it's going to crash and it's going to burn. You know that this doesn't last. And I'm not entirely sure why people keep convincing themselves that this new person is the absolute love of their life. More to this point, even if it is, it doesn't change anything about what happened to you. You are not the love of their life. Look at the way they treated you. Why would you want this person to be the love of your life? They did horrific things to you. And you know better than this. This is a cycle. This is a disorder. They have to do this. You used to be the best person in the world, right? And look how quickly they turned on you. Well, guess what? The narcissist found your flaws, and guess what else? We all have those flaws. The narcissist is looking for a flawless person, and you and I both know they're going to go around and around and around and never find what they're looking for, because everybody has flaws, everybody has imperfections. The narcissist is doomed to do this over and over and over again. You're just kind of watching it unfold in real time. Number 7, the constant and consistent unhappiness. You know all of this is fake. You know it's all garbage. I really have to laugh because you know what a miserable loser this person is. You already know. You know that they're mean and moody and critical and bitter as shit and resentful. They're passive aggressive and petty. You were walking around on eggshells. God forbid if you share a feeling or an emotion or a thought you got lashed out at. Maybe you were hit. Maybe you were screamed at. You've seen that they will do really unspeakable, awful things just to get a little kick out of something or a small piece of enjoyment. As unhappy as they always are, why do you think that another person will fix this for them? Why do you think something or someone else will fix their just constant state of unhappiness? Nobody else in this world, nobody, I don't care who they are, nobody else is going to make us happy. No one else is going to make the narcissist happy. We have to learn how to love ourselves, value ourselves, and make ourselves happy. That isn't the narcissist's responsibility to do that for you. It's not your job to do that for the narcissist. The new supply will not and cannot make the narcissist happy. I have to say it, and I hate when I do that super cliche bullshit here where all of this has to come from us. You know the narcissist is incapable of making themselves happy. Self-loathing people with really low self-esteem and a poor opinion of themselves, they can't do that. Self-loathing people depend on others to regulate them. It's a losing game. It's a losing game, and you know that it is. How could they possibly be happy with somebody else? They're not happy with themselves. Nobody else is ever going to be able to fill that void for them. It just looks like it from time to time. If they've been with a new person longer than you, okay, Who cares? They found a bigger doormat. They found somebody more willing to put up with the abuse. They found somebody who they can brainwash into thinking they're the problem longer than they could with you. This is not a contest that you want to win. There's no award for this. Time doesn't equal happiness. Who cares what they're doing and why they're doing it? Tell me some other signs that the narcissist's new supply is doomed to failure, because you know it and I know it. I highly encourage you to click the link in the video description if you would like to become a channel member. It greatly helps support my efforts here and the work that I do. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself. We're going to blink and it's going to be the holiday season. And to a lot of people, that time of year is already here. We're coming into a prime time for narcissists to make their rounds and hoover all of their exes. So in this video, I want to talk about the art of the narcissist's hoovering tactics during the holidays and pretty much every other day of the year as well. Number one, the birthdays, the anniversaries, and the holidays. Not only might you get a text on your birthday, you might also get prompted to wish the narcissist a happy birthday as well. The approach can be subtle and simple, or they can come right out and demand getting that kind of greeting from you. You might get a text on your old anniversary, also a very common nostalgic-y filled hoover. This is usually filled with, I still love you, I miss you, I was thinking about you. They might even try to prompt you to respond back to them by asking you a question. Do you know what day it is? Or have you been thinking about me? Something along those lines. And of course, the holidays, Merry Christmas, season's greetings, or whatever you celebrate in the coming months ahead might also be hoovers that you might receive. And these hoovers, all of them here, birthday, anniversary, holiday, and all of that kind of stuff can be very tricky to avoid because the overwhelming theme of all of these hoovers is guilt. You might feel guilty for not acknowledging their birthday. You might be a little sad because you want them to remember it's your birthday. A holiday greeting coming your way, I mean, it's just rude if you don't at least say, hey, you too, right? And this is what the narcissist is banking on. You're a nice person, and they know this, so a lot of times this is done just to test the waters. How angry are you? Are you still so mad at them or annoyed or heartbroken that you won't say anything? Will you respond with something really nasty and aggressive or passive aggressive? A lot of hoovers are really nothing more than trial and error. What will you respond to and what do you ignore? Do you respond in anger, kindness, or an aloofness about yourself? Number two, any combination of I love you, I miss you, I want you back, I fucked up, and blah, blah, blah. The overwhelming theme of all of these hoovers is, of course, you're getting love bombed again. And these hoovers can be bursting at the seams with nostalgia and kindness and this feeling of, oh, they really do love me. You know, wow, they're going to stop being mean to me. They see that I'm a good person. They see how much I really love them. Now, I can't sit here and tell you that you can't respond to a hoover because, frankly, many years ago, I did just that. But know that you're jumping into this again. And when you do, you will see just how quickly all of these false promises, all this future faking and love bombing goes by the wayside. In probably less than 30 days, your devaluing will once again be in full effect. And this is sometimes really important for us to see. I know I get a lot of shit about sometimes saying, hey, respond to the hoover. I can't tell anybody what to do one way or the other, but I think some people need to have a second go around or possibly more to realize that, wow, this is absolutely transactional and I don't even matter as a person to this individual. Some people need to see that and some people don't. Some people can move on, they get hoovered, they ignore it, and that's great. That's what we should do. But sometimes for a lot of us, myself included, nostalgia gets you, love bombing gets you, and you get sucked back in. I still just have to say, sometimes it's really vital for certain people to realize how transactional it all really is, how quickly it all just falls apart all over again. It shows people this really is a cycle. They really don't care. Number three, the good old, I've changed, I've seen the light, I've found religion, some combination of, hey, look at me, I'm better now than I was before. And this is also something really common in hoovering. They try to convince you they have seen the error of all their ways, and now they want to come back and show you just how wrong you were about them. They can make this relationship work, and everything is going to be okay. This is absolute manipulation, pretty much at its finest. Also, another case where you are just going to see, if you jump back in again, how truly brief and transactional all of that is. It's future faking, heavy future faking. It's all false promises and nothing that they plan on doing, really, I swear, for longer than about 30 days. Maybe if it's something long distance or you don't see each other a whole lot, it may seem like it lasts for maybe 1 to 2, even 3 months, but it will always revert back to exactly what it was before. If you would like to talk one-on-one with me about what you're going through in a toxic relationship, you can send an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chat conversations. Number 4, the hero hoover. Out of the blue, there's a disaster in the narcs world, and guess what? They need a hero, and it's you. They need money. They need a place to stay. They're in jail. Who knows? Whatever. They have some crisis going on. I do sometimes refer to this as the crisis hoover. Either way, nobody else will seem to do. It's you that they need to fix this really big problem. And this one can be really, really, really hard to ignore because this is another hoovering trick where the main goal here is guilt. They might say they're sick. They might say somebody has died, or maybe they're near death. The car got towed just straight up out of the driveway. Something awful has happened, and the story plays and pulls at your heartstrings. Small segue here that I just don't feel that I would be doing a good job at this if I didn't talk about it. There are 2 different kinds of guilt in this world. There's appropriate guilt and there's inappropriate guilt. Appropriate guilt is what we should be feeling when we should be feeling guilty. We lied to somebody, we deceived them, we cheated or stole something. We feel wrong, we're bad, and we feel guilty, and we should because we've done something wrong. But there's other guilt that other people want you to feel despite you actually having done nothing wrong. Super, super inappropriate guilt. You should do this for me. If you don't do this for me, you're terrible. Please, if you get a hoover like this, survivor, know that you are not obligated to help your former abuser. You owe them nothing. You never did, and you never will. If they had treated you like a human being, then they would get that help from you. If they had helped you in difficult times instead of actually being a bigger pain in the ass and making everything harder, then you would be there for them in a pinch, and you know that. Frankly, I was treated like a shitty pair of shoes. And let me tell you something, some old Nikes can't come and pick you up at 2:00 in the morning or give you anything else that you need, so you can kiss my ass. Number 5, the oops. I love the oops ones. These are the nifty little pocket dials that nobody actually even does anymore, or the oops, sorry, wrong person text messages. I absolutely adore these just really shitty little attempts to get your attention. It's not a huge percentage of the hoovers out there, but I wanted to throw it in because frankly, I just think it's fucking funny. But really, any kind of a reach out after 30 days or more is considered a hoover. So I want to get that information out there as well. Usually if they're just gone a couple weeks and they come back, that's more so you've just been ghosted. But if months have gone by, it's an absolute hoover, regardless of what they say or what they don't. Even if it's just hi, it's still a hoover. Number 6, let me get my stuff back. I love this one too. These people leave a toothpick at your place and 6 months later, they decide it's the holy grail and they want that shit back, you know? Make sure that you put a firm timeline in place about them retrieving their things. Also let them know that failure to comply with this results in their shit going to the trash, and they can pick through them hefty bags on your tree lawn at their leisure. It is not your responsibility. This is yet again something else where they want you to feel guilty if you don't hold on to their things, if you don't take care of their things, and if they don't take that stuff with them when they go after whatever amount of time you choose, it is no longer your responsibility. Stop taking responsibility for things where other people need to pick up their own slack. Just remember, Just because somebody narcissistic doesn't want to take responsibility for their stuff or their career or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to pick up the slack and do it. We are all responsible for ourselves. Someone's lack of accountability and responsibility doesn't mean all of a sudden you pick up more of that shit and take it with you. We have enough emotional baggage. I'm not adding one more carry-on to the whole basket of shit I've already got. These are really, really sad attempts to pop right back into your life. Don't fall for it. Number 7, any combination of anger, aggressiveness, passive aggressiveness, bitterness, or resentment in an email or a call or voicemail, anything. Anger, hate, insults, all that stuff. These are fun, right? Sometimes when they try the I love you, I miss you, and that doesn't work, sometimes they'll switch it up and come at you with something like this. If they don't feel that love bombing will work on you in the first place, they will sometimes skip the mushy, gushy, I love you kind of stuff, and they will go right into this, which is just masterfully manipulated when you really think about it. They want you to respond with some pissy little message so that they can fight with you. Some attention is better than none to a narcissist. Bad attention is better than none to a narcissist. And I want you to roll that back and listen to it as many times as you feel you need to. So what Hoovers did I miss? I certainly didn't touch on all of them, so you can leave all your stories down in the comments if you choose to do so. If you want some bonus content that I drop out from time to time and to help support my work here on the channel, you can become a channel member. There is a link down in the description for you, or you can just click the join button that's right below the video. I want to thank some of my new members like Janelle, Dave, and Lovely Empress. Thank you very much for listening. You can subscribe for more content each and every single week. Have a great day, Survivor, and take care of yourself. I get asked a lot, does someone who is narcissistic love us or love their parents, their kids, or frankly, anyone for that matter? I feel the answer is complex. So in this video, I want to dive into this and explore the topic of narcissists and love. For those of you looking for a quick answer, which is probably a lot of you, it's no. They don't love us, nor anybody else for that matter. Narcissism is selfish, extremely self-serving, and love just doesn't have any place in that kind of arena. It never has, and it never will. Most narcissists are really scared of love because love requires us to be vulnerable with another person. A bond has to be formed here, and bonds are built on things like trust, honesty, and communication, among many other things. And none of these are strong points for a highly narcissistic person. There are also narcissists that feel something kind of like love. It's really hard for me to put a finer point on it, but it's a very warped view on the idea of love, a very tarnished, I think, ideal on what real love is. I believe some narcissists have this and some don't, but things with a narcissist are always going to be transactional. And the theory that I have kind of learned and developed is knowing what we know about narcissism, that it's riddled with immaturity, refusing to take accountability for one's behavior, acting out, lashing out, control issues and tantrums, all those things. And then we take that and we add in what we know about them and their love of all things stale, transactional, and very, very cold. I believe some of them have this version and idea of love. Imagine a small child, maybe 5 or 6 years old, and you are the parent in this situation. They smile every time they see you. They light up and they're just tickled pink at the thought of you, and they love you very, very much. Until you tell them they can't have a snack before dinner. You tell them that they need to go and get washed up because they've been playing outside all day. And we know where this is going to lead to. You get the anger, the denial, the defiance. I hate you, mom or dad, respectively. This isn't fair. You can't make me do this. I don't want to. I don't love you anymore. You're awful and you're mean and you're making me do things I don't want to do. You get that kind of reaction. You said I can't go play with my friends. I'll ask mom or dad, grandma, whoever. I'll go get the answer I really want from someone else. I don't like what you're telling me right now. This is how I think some narcissists see the idea of love. One of those, if you really loved me, you would want me to be happy. You wouldn't make me get a job. You wouldn't make me be responsible or do things I want to do. I don't like you anymore. You won't give me what I want. So I'm discarding your ass because my new supply is better than you and they let me do whatever I want. It's love, quote unquote, but only on their terms. It's very conditional. You have to let them do everything they want, and then they feel as if they give you some sort of love. And it's hard to tell which ones have these certain ideals. Maybe all of them do. They just don't express it. Some act this way, and some just don't. If you'd like to talk one-on-one with me about what you're going through in a toxic relationship or what you've gone through in the aftermath of a toxic relationship, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chats. I know some people might ask about love bombing now. Surely that has to be real. There's so many feelings involved here, and some of them seem just so incredibly infatuated with us. And that's just it. Love bombing, while it gets that title, it can also be called idealization. And it isn't actually love at all. It's lust, desperation for them in some cases. Yes, infatuation. They don't know you. We can't love somebody that we don't know. They only think you're perfect, and they fall madly in love with their idea of you. They take little bits and pieces and conclude that you're perfect, and then they feel as if they're madly in love with you. And again, it isn't love to begin with. It's that transactional, conditional kind of love. And we all know what's right around the corner. The devaluing. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe that the love bombing is fake. Again, I feel it's warped and tainted and misguided. You're boosting their egos and making them happy, so they think they found that perfection, which is what all narcissists are looking for, that perfect, ideal sort of person. And that's what this is all about. Once they find out that we're human, we're flawed, and we are, in fact, not perfect, we know for a fact the devaluing kicks in and it all goes downhill from there. No, the love bombing isn't love. And I know we all become intoxicated in that love bombing phase. But the thing that we really have to understand through our healing is love bombing is really, really unrealistic. Number one, it's also incredibly unhealthy. This is not how love works. Love takes time. You have to learn somebody. You have to figure them out. You have to know what they're like in certain situations. And this thing that we become intoxicated and addicted to, we now start to look for that in other people. And some people, after they move on from someone narcissistic, when they get into a relationship with somebody who doesn't have those signs and doesn't have those tendencies, they frankly get very bored, or they don't feel like the other person is maybe as into them as they should be because they aren't being love bombed. And not everybody love bombs. That's not how it works. It's not supposed to. Love bombing, whether you have good intentions or bad intentions like a narcissist, is incredibly toxic. And as we go through our healing, we really need to square with that. Yeah, they're always going to love bomb, but we need to learn how incredibly unhealthy all of that really is. And that love bombing has absolutely nothing to do with love. Another question that I get as far as love is, well, why do they stay then? Or why do they get married? Or why do they have long-term relationships? On the flip side, it's why do they keep coming back to me? Surely if they keep hoovering me, they keep showing up, then they must really care about me. All these signs point to love. And that's also just not completely accurate. They stay because, frankly, it's convenient. It's easy. Perhaps they have worn you down until they get their way all the time. They get married because, again, they feel as if this person will give them the most benefits. I really have to impress here the selfish behavior, the highly narcissistic behavior, the self-serving behavior. None of them do anything, just not a damn thing, if they see no benefit in it for them. That is the way of the narcissist. They have to see some benefit for them in the long term and the short term, respectively. That's what things like future faking are all about. They make you false promises so they can get what they want right here in the moment. And your gift comes somewhere down the road, which we know it never does. A lot of times narcissists propose, get married, suggest having kids, or moving in together when they sense you getting ready to leave, and they can't risk losing you as a source of supply. It's all convenience, it's all manipulation, it's all trial and error. None of these things have anything to do with love. The sad truth is that there is no love from this person because they don't love themselves. You can't love anybody else in this world if you don't love yourself. And you have to be able to know how to do this. You have to love and value yourself. Narcissists are not going to do this. They're very self-loathing people. They have very low self-esteem. Sometimes that's hard to see because they seem as if they have almost a God complex or a superiority complex. And that's all false. It's a fake image to mask the inferiority that's hiding underneath. These are all things a narcissist is afraid of: love, vulnerability, intimacy, commitment. They want something a little bit different. They want to be admired, worshiped, praised, doted on, and all of those things. But love, they're actually not much interested in that idea. They don't want that from you, survivor, and you will certainly never get it from them. They are not interested. You will never get real love. You'll get infatuation, you'll get manipulation, you'll get idealized, you'll be devalued. Never, ever will you get love. Not the kind of love I don't think that you would actually really want anyway. If you want that cold, sterile, transactional version of love, then have at it, because that's all you're ever really going to get. So does the narcissist really love anyone, even themselves? Tell me your thoughts on this down in the comments. If you want to chat with me live, you can swing by my weekly live streams that I do every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. Make sure you have your notifications on so you know when I go live. You can do that and go ahead and subscribe while you're at it. If you're not, shame on